And me too. I've got some coffee.
Coffee for everyone.
Yes. So it's always awkward to say good morning and good VGM Wednesday on the afternoons, but I still will. Today we've got Josh. I don't know if everyone knows Josh. They should, because they're looking at some of his work right now.
Yeah, look at everything.
And any of the any of the streams you've seen in the past, any of the Tuesday night fights, any of the spring series, that would be all Josh. Josh, want to introduce yourself for the people who somehow might not know you?
Sure. Hello. I've been part of this free play community pretty much since its birth. Started doing some work just for fun with Chris, I don't know, almost 5 years ago now. The very birth of the stream, and kind of went
before
from
that
there
even.
to... Go ahead.
Yeah, before that even. You were Spring Series 1, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And was a day zero free play Richardson person. Stood there in line with a bunch of people I know now that I didn't know then. And just started doing some free work, and then kind of did some contract work for free play, and then actually was working for free play since last year. And then of course, some sort of weird virus. I don't know if you guys heard about this happened. And free play had to close, and it's unfortunate, but here we are. And, I'm just kind of doing some freelance work and looking for other work. And I love doing anything artistic on the computer. Sometimes sketching as well. That's a skill that's gone a long way, but it's working its way back. But looking forward to just making some goofy photos on the computer, because, I mean, really, Ian, tell me that you didn't start using Photoshop because you wanted to see what silly thing you could make.
I just saw, so my first exposure to Photoshop was in high school, and I totally saw a pen that connected to a computer.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, wait a second. You can use a pencil?
Yeah.
On the computer? That was always like amazing to me. So yeah, that was like first real introduction was a long time ago, like on a Mac. And like they had like a drawing program. And like the thing that fascinated me was like, oh, you can fill in a whole section with bricks and make a house and not have to draw any bricks.
Exactly.
Brick fill, yeah.
Yeah.
So brick fill was my introduction to art stuff in general on the computer.
I think I kind of came to Photoshop a little bit later. I had friends who used Photoshop, and it was always this weird tool that was obscure and confusing and had so many functions and things to do that just, I mean, I still to this point probably use 20 to 30% of what Photoshop has to offer.
And that stuff changes all the time too.
Right, exactly. But I kind of started with 3D work. Was the first thing I did on the computer, kind of artwork, and this was probably 90. So old. I know I was probably about 16 or 17, so this had to be about 94. And I luckily had some friends who had ways of acquiring software. Before Adobe did the cloud thing, man, it was hard times trying to scrounge together thousands of dollars for software. But I'll never forget that my first version of 3D Studio forever ago in the mid 90s came to me via a friend on 11 3.5-inch floppy disks. So
oh my god.
Yup. And it worked great. It was great. It was like it was also the computing power of the time, running on my maybe Pentium at the time, and you'd be like, oh, I've got this 20-second animation I want to do. Let me see. I'll hit render at 10 p.m. I'll put a big note on the computer, because it's the family computer, hey, nobody touch this thing, and turn off the monitor. And then tomorrow morning, maybe my 20-second animation came out well and rendered well, and didn't have like something I overlooked or whatever else. I'll have to do another 8 hours some other day.
Yeah. Speaking of animation on a computer, I'm gonna put this on just because I have control of it now.
Yeah.
Don't tell me if you've never played this. I'm sure you played this. It's a slow burn in the beginning, I think.
Yes. Crap.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now it's a game of guess the song, Josh.
Is that Mario?
We got some people.
It
is
eating. Yeah, no. I I saw that for the first time in so long at the Video Game Museum in Frisco
Mhm.
a couple years back, and oh my gosh, yeah, that I had that probably until about 2009 when I kind of sold off a bunch of my video game stuff, but that had the worst mouse pad that you could ever buy. Why did they
Yes,
think
it did.
plastic was a good idea? That's the dumbest thing.
But plastic was like a thing for a while. Like I remember in like LAN parties, we would get these things called like rat pads and dang, what else was there was like two brands of like mouse pads that were specifically like plastic and hard mouse pads.
Yeah, no, and I've
Um,
learned, for me anyway, just a regular mouse pad is the best mouse pad, because when I got my first MacBook through work a few years back, it was, just the standard, whatever. It's not the space gray that they have now. It's just that more standard aluminum, lighter color. And
yeah.
I was like, oh man, this thing looks so sleek. I'm gonna get a mouse pad. And I would go online and there's like, oh, it's a mouse pad that looks just like it. I'm like, how sweet, an aluminum mouse pad. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. It doesn't make any sense. It makes a scratching noise every time you move the mouse. And I
Oh
was like,
man.
okay, you know what? I'm just gonna get my $5 mouse pad that's got like a picture of a galaxy on it. And
I think we're overlooking the fact that it was a like a trackball instead of like the lasers and stuff nowadays.
right.
I feel sorry for no, you know what? I don't feel sorry for it. I was just like kids who've never had to clean out a trackball.
Oh yeah. What's
You know,
this
no,
thing in this
that
on
was-
this rod? And if I take it off, does it ruin it? Does it break it? Is that a part? Do I need to replace this thing that's just limp, that's got in such a pattern in which I'm afraid to remove it?
Right?
Yeah, there was like the two wheels. There was the one wheel that was plastic and the one wheel that was metal.
Oh yeah.
In both of them. Yeah. I always liked the idea that, although I could never be like an actual trackball person, I was always a mouse person. But I liked, for a while, you go into Best Buy and there'd be the one, not trackball, but trackball rather. And it was basically, the ball was the same size as a pool ball, so you could kind of like swap it out, just put a pool ball in there if you wanted to, like a billiards ball. And it just looked
Like
really
a
nice.
full-on pool ball? That's a huge.
It was massive, but the idea, I don't know, just using your fingers to move the mouse around as opposed to just using the mouse, like it just never clicked with me. The roll
I know
ball.
there's some Counter-Strike players that definitely played like that. I don't know how they did it, but
Yeah.
Well, all right. So if people don't know by now, the theme for this week is kind of art in video games or games based around art. Excuse me, as I choke on coffee.
That's good
That's why
coffee
you're
right
hearing
there.
Mario, right? That's why you're hearing Mario Paint right now. Let's see what's coming up next. Okay. Or it's gonna stick around
We're just gonna
on
listen
an
to
empty Mario Paint.
the end of Mario Paint for the next 4.5 hours.
Little known fact that the Mario Paint theme music has a 45-minute silent outro.
Yeah. Then the special track at the end.
Yeah,
man.
But
that's right. No, this
yeah,
isn't the
so-
KI Cuts soundtrack.
oh god, yeah, I forget there was like a special
Like,
song at
track
the end.
30 was Humiliation.
Yeah, humiliation. And it was right after the terrible end theme, or the boss's theme at the end. All right, there you
Take
go.
that.
Let's continue. We're good. We're good.
I leaned over and hit the next button.
So, video game, like just this art theme. We didn't think that there would be much, but it's kind of a broad category. On my end, you're seeing the Streets of Rage image, all hand drawn. All the animation is hand drawn, and if you have played the game and like checked out the art in it, it's gorgeous. And so, a little later on today, we're gonna have the illustrator and creative director for Streets of Rage 4 joining us and talking about that process. But I figure I'd have it up now just because, well, it's pretty to look at.
For sure.
But all the music that you're hearing now are kind of like, I guess, games based on art. I believe this is what, Kirby and the Crystal Shards. I think, did he have like a brush or like a pencil maybe that he used? Did he have like art Kirby? Was there an art mode Kirby?
Oh man, I don't know my.
I'm
Kirby
sure there
game
was.
at all. That is my least Nintendo. Well, I guess it's HAL.
Oh,
But still,
man.
close enough.
That was one of my favorite ones. It was, I think I was Kirby over Mega Man just because it was like end of its era Nintendo versus like beginning era Nintendo.
Sure.
But yeah. So looking up stuff for it for the Steam like last week, there's actually a lot of things, games inspired by like famous artists, and I never really came to that conclusion until really looking at it. I was like, oh, okay. One of which is a game that both me and Josh totally like love. Like every time I have a chance to put music from this game up, I do. Transistor. Had no clue that it was kind of based off of Klimt, an artist named Klimt. Gustav Klimt. So I'm gonna put kind of examples of his stuff versus things you see in Transistor.
Yeah, his style is so amazingly unique. It's fantastic.
Transistor the video game, not Transistor the item.
Show me a bunch of transistors. Cool.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go to Radio Shack.
All the EE nerds are freaking out right now.
Finally, it's our time.
Yeah, calm down, Lego. So yeah, Transistor, totally something based off of Klimt, and I can totally see that after look at all the golds and everything, the shapes. It was just something that I never thought of until at least reading that article.
Right, because the saturation that they did in that game was so interesting because it almost seems so dull, but it's not. There's these extreme pops of color and everything else, and yeah, it was a great look. And I mean, of course, part of that also, I guess I get sucked in, whether it's like Max Payne or whatever else, but you throw like a noir twist in there, and it really gives it something else.
Yeah, on top of it too, like I wasn't thinking Klimt at all, but now that I see all the colors, it's like, dude, it's totally his stuff. And I love seeing like that kind of inspiration in something. Because if somebody makes that distinction, they're going to talk about it. This game is probably going to get somebody into Klimt himself and his work. So
Yeah.
Man, I always thought this was more of a Frank Lloyd Wright-ish kind of thing, just because everything, all the architecture and everything being so.
What do we call that?
It's a Gothic.
Yeah, Gothic. Yeah.
There's probably, I bet you, there's got to be a game based off of his work. Besides, Batman. His Gothic, all his stuff is like Frank Lloyd Wright is like an architect that most of his buildings, I think you'll see like in Chicago. So Chicago has a very distinct look, and it's due to this guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Transistor was the one that popped out in my mind. Some other ones that popped up in my mind definitely were Okami. Right, and just because it was like brush themed, but I guess inspired by Hokusai, and Hokusai is the guy who's made these. He's famous for the Wave.
Which always makes me
it
think
called
of
The
course,
Wave?
of Wind Waker. So
Right?
yeah, because they
So I
definitely just pulled that style so hard to get the waves of Wind Waker.
Let's see, Okami. Yeah, so this totally makes sense too to me. This
Well,
is
no,
even.
And I never got to Okami, unfortunately. But it also
it's so good.
has sort of that brush style as well that I feel like Street Fighter 4 pushed forward also. Just a very like, it's an ink splatter. Yeah. Which is
I
that's
forget what it's called.
games. I was really impressed with that because it's, it's really nice to be able to see anything that is feels like painted when you're talking just digital and you're talking pixels, and especially real-time 3D graphics and everything else. To be able to get that feeling really was so unique at the time. That was great to see.
Yeah. Sumi Inc. was what I was thinking of especially for Street Fighter 4 stuff. When they focused and they parried, or even when they did their supers and stuff, there was like this splash of ink that kind of like followed and trailed along with them.
Right,
and I think they tried to go with the artistic style stuff like that even further, because I know there's like special colors that look like it's like halftone or like scribbled in or something. It didn't quite work as well as the others. It just looked more annoying, and people, I don't know, I think picked it to look to be very trolly because it was harder to look at. But yeah, Sumi Inc. was pretty cool. So, Josh, it's your first time here. Usually, what we do is talk about like the theme and talk about the games for it, and then we kind of like just pick a cover or an image of a game that we all kind of agree on that kind of makes sense with the theme,
Sure.
and then just start putting Chris in it somehow, and or just like if this is gonna be Okami, just
How did
turn
this
this
happen?
into the word VGM Wednesday. It started off with Death Stranding, and I think we're gonna keep going with it. It was so good that it was Death Stranding because of the building a community and like during a hard time kind of deal.
Thank you for all the extra. What? It's not profile pictures. I use them for the background on Facebook.
Oh, the covers,
Yeah.
cover photos. You're welcome. So,
It's a blessing
Yeah,
and a
I think-
curse. You do something ultra embarrassing, I'm putting it up anyway.
So what is this one in the back right now? X-Men: Children of the Atom. That makes sense. Comic books. There's a lot of comic book video games. Comic
Oh,
book
of course.
is a art form. A lot of I think this Streets of Rage pulls from that and like manga specifically. I actually can't wait to ask him about what he feels about that. There's a manga that was, or not a manga. It was an anime that was like French based. I have to look up what the name of it is, but that was very cool looking. It's a very distinct style.
Okay.
So what are you thinking? Got any thoughts about
I'm fine with the Okami route.
Okami?
Yeah.
Or what do you feel is a very artistic video game?
Oh, very. I mean, aside from the ones we've mentioned, I don't know. This is. I was trying to think of some, and it's interesting to me because I wouldn't call it. You're not gonna hang this on your wall or whatever. But I thought back to when the PS4 launched, and yes, it was just particles, but Resogun was such a joy to play because it was like you were in a fireworks show constantly, and I don't know, it was very, basic sci-fi kind of look, but the particles and the way they use them, like it really came to life. It was a ton of fun.
RESO gun?
Yep, yeah. I don't know if it was, I can't remember if it was free for the PS4 when it launched or it was like a free PSN Plus game, something like that, but it's a shooter and it's intense. It's like a confined shooter. You're almost, if I remember correctly, because I haven't played it in about 5 years, you're kind of confined within a circular area. So it's almost in like Defender, where you're in a constant loop that you can go one way or the other. But it's also a shooter. And it was super heavy on the particle physics of enemies blowing up and everything else. And I think what they did, if I remember correctly, you can see the ship there on the cover. They tried to make all of the ships look as though they were pixels that are blocks. So anytime it blew up, or the enemies or whatever else, those 3D cubes actually blew up. So I think it might have been what's it called, voxel. I think it was a voxel.
Yeah,
game.
voxels. Yeah.
So yes, it was pretty fun. It was just like voxels with tons of glow and everything else. And it was a lot. It was like just so much to take in, but really fun because of it too.
It's funny. Why is Transistor here? Transistor again.
Resogun.
Resogun.
That's
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, that's cool. I noticed the Wipeout ship. I was like, is this from Wipeout? I guess it's because it's a Sony game.
Yeah, I knew there were ships to unlock. I didn't remember that Wipeout was in there, but yeah. It was fun. I should boot it up. I really have not. Like, I know it's installed on my PS4 still. I just haven't turned it on in I don't know how long. So I haven't turned.
I'm gonna
on
add the Resogun. Oops. Theme. Maybe.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I can't remember what the music is this point, but I'm sure it's something that's gonna be very appropriate.
I'm gonna add it to the list. People hearing and listening to Marvel vs. Capcom right now. Another Marvel reference and theme. It's a VGM Wednesday art theme.
At least you're not taking me for a ride for the next 3 hours.
No. 3-hour loop of Take Me for a Ride.
That's every arcade in
Oh,
the
look,
year
see, that was
2000.
quick. Quick and easy. Well, what do you think? Do you want to give a shot at like trying to take the Resogun logo and making it a VGM logo, VGM Wednesday
Yeah,
logo.
that's fine. I mean, it's got a pretty good square font going on there.
Yeah.
I mean, again.
So how do you go about if you had to do this? Because I know I've got my, I guess, tips and tricks.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
every time I
looking for
see one of your
typefaces.
VGM Wednesdays, I kind of take it apart in my head. Like
Uh-huh.
anytime I've seen the cover photos. So yeah, I assume that it's a similar process of like, let's find first of all the highest res image we can as best.
Yeah.
And then if we can find one without the title, great. So we don't have to do a bunch of peeling brush and making stuff
Oh yeah.
disappear tricks. But if we have to,
Yep.
we have to. Then finding a matchy font and then, dressing up the font to try to do, all the tons of layer style tricks to get it looking the way we want.
That's pretty much what I do. Like, I straight up, I would just go Resogun typeface. Thank you, Google. Maybe.
Oh,
Sometimes it
yeah.
helps.
I don't know if it's that strong.
Resogun game and type. I bet you, because a lot of the times what you're gonna find is like these game companies in certain games, if their logo is kind of a little too generic, it's because they just like typed it out and they didn't do anything to finesse it or finagle any of like the type.
Right.
So sometimes you just straight up type it out. I'm gonna help you out and look and see if I can find you a typeface. Your Resogun chips. Game and type, but this is not showing up.
Yeah, I saw that site as well. I'm following along with you. I see that, and it's like, yeah, game and type, and here's some screenshots.
I know, not helping me, Google.
Whoa.
Sometimes my Google foo is not that great.
I had to
Hey.
I had to fix the list a little bit because there were some games missing from it.
Oh, games like?
Wind Waker and Jet Set Radio and Yoshi's Island.
Oh my God! How did I not think? I think it's because it was in the funk stuff. Jet Set Radio, of course, has to be on there. I guess you could almost say Lethal League also, just because it's got the same graffiti art style.
So y'all were talking
How's it
about the
going,
first
Jerry?
time y'all used Photoshop earlier.
Oh yeah.
I think the first time I used it, it was like version 5.0 or 6.0, one of those two.
Mm-hmm.
Way back in the day. But yeah, I just remember doodling around with it, messing with photos, giving myself a twin.
Yep, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what you do. I remember sitting in a training class. I had this job where I was going to be doing tech support for Microsoft Network when Microsoft was deciding that they wanted to compete with AOL. And I didn't have Photoshop access at the time, but I had Microsoft Paint. And it's like, I'm so bored in this training class. I'm going to take this picture of a car and I'm going to put 3 wheels on one side instead of 2. And that's fun. That's fun. But have you guys ever heard this story? I haven't looked this up in the age of the internet, which I should have. But I remember on The Abyss, which is a favorite movie of mine, that was like watching the special features DVD of The Abyss forever ago. And they talk about how John Knoll was the visual supervisor on that. And obviously he's been involved in Star Wars movies and anything ILM forever. And there's this story that they needed... You guys are familiar with the movie, there's like the water tentacle monster thing. And they needed a way to kind of have the 3D object they had made overlaid on top of film, and they were having a lot of trouble doing this. And so John Knoll invented Photoshop at that time because he needed a tool to digitally paint on individual frames of film.
Yeah.
And
I can.
I mean, it seems
can see
logical,
that.
but yeah. So that's pretty
Sometimes that's what you need to do if you got to do something. I mean, and there's nothing for it.
Yeah.
Hell, we've been talking about that. I've been talking about that with Lego on, I guess, stream stuff. I'm like, man, I wish there was something that did this. And
Man,
we've
that one
been
at the top of your screen right now, Ian, that's not too bad. I mean, it's not nearly the same thing, but at least it's got some interest to it.
Yeah, so I just looked up. So the font, free fonts. It's not necessarily for things that you can sell. So it's like just personal use, like free fonts, whatever.
Right.
I go on there and usually that's where you find a lot of like display typefaces. You won't find anything that's like good for, unfortunately, readability or
Right.
using like in actual like paragraphs of stuff. Like I would not put a paragraph of this.
No.
If you do, well, you've got other problems and stuff. But yeah, I will jump in here and like look around if I can't find anything. So if there's not a typeface for this specifically, yeah. So yeah, I'm helping you out, looking for something that looks like similar to Resogun.
Yeah, that E is really going to throw things off.
Yeah, and that's the part where if you look at it with the S, that's something that they probably actually made on their own.
Yeah.
Because it's taken, if you look at this, it's taken this part of the S, and they probably just had the S, and then they flipped this around to make it their own deal.
It's like the
and
curve is a little bit less, but it's almost there.
yeah,
So,
small stuff like that is, I think, what makes somebody from just typing something out to making kind of like a logo.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
A really good example of that is this is like something that my teachers taught me. Was it Barney's? Barney's of New York? Barney's of New York logo. So if you look at this Barney's of New York logo, it is a typeface, and it's very close to just being like a very classy looking typeface, but instead of just something that somebody can type out, oh my god, go back. New tab. Marvel vs. Capcom again. Anyway, I can't zoom in, unfortunately, but
Yeah, that's so close to like Trajan or something, but
it is Trajan. But the thing that they did that changed it was they took this part of the K right here, and it's the part of the Y's. It's very small, and it's something. It's on the R, it's on the K's, and now it's on the Y's.
It's on the
So it's
end.
something that kind of oh yeah, it's on the end over here too. Yeah, it's something that makes it more, I guess, cohesive and gives it its own thing without it straight up being just like Trajan. So it's something different. It's somebody who looked at it and thought, hey, this could work for these pieces and stuff.
Yeah.
Which kind of works out for when we do
Fun playing
VGM
around.
Wednesday things. Like the M at the end of the VGM can be totally flipped and become like a W or vice versa if we want to change things around.
Yeah.
But yeah, more Resogun stuff. Do you think some of the first ones I saw were pretty close in the... I'm looking for something closer to that R is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, of course we can disconnect the middle part if we need to. That's not
But yeah, if you want...
being
you,
in italicized is obviously helpful too.
Yeah.
Not having to ship it ourselves.
Maybe.
That's ESPN font right there.
Right here?
No, if you scroll up a little bit, I'm seeing your stream a little bit behind the times, obviously. So a little bit higher. You'll see it. You'll know when you see it. Yeah, right at the top.
Oh yeah, right here.
Yeah.
It's called Edge Racer. Yeah, the E and the S.
That is ESPN. That's the N from ESPN. You can't trick me. Don't call it anything else.
Josh, are you a sports fan?
I have seen Sprats on TV. No, I've come and gone. It's I don't really watch a lot right now, but I was hugely into mostly football for like 8 years straight. Yeah, it's waned over the years.
Because I know you've
Did you know Beltran owned a team?
I thought he had 3.
Oh, yeah.
Had is the appropriate word. R.I.P. XFL.
Vegas. Yeah.
But yeah, I know you have taken a lot of inspiration from ESPN and different like sports broadcasts for our different stream overlays and whatnot. It's very on point.
I mean, for sure, the Tuesday Night Fights logo, when I made that in 2018, the new one was just like, let's make it as sportsy as we can, and nothing felt more sportsy than being, slightly italicized and metallic and having some flying dashes and things. It was as much like, I think I probably watched the series Sports Night 6 times over. And so I think it was seeing all the graphics on there and everything. It just got burned into my head. So yeah, it just that's definitely where TNF went.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
spot
the
on.
italics being a showing of movement and all that
Motion.
stuff. Also,
Yeah, exactly.
showing motion in a thing that's kind of just there.
Mhm.
I'm not finding anything better than the first few that I saw.
I looked up an arty game for you guys to consider that whenever you get to a lull, just throw it my way
No.
as I highlight stuff.
Throw it now.
Throw it away. Yeah.
Okay, so this game is called Fract OSC. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Yeah, FRACT space OSC. Now, it is a very arty game that looks like it's in the Tron universe, I would say. Like, it very much looks like you're first person
yeah.
walking through Tron. And there are no instructions, and there are very few on-screen prompts. It's kind of a Myst-esque puzzle, first-person puzzle game, I would say.
Man, there's not enough of those anymore.
Yeah, it came out in 2014, but the things that you'll notice immediately is like beautiful art in
So
again,
I've got
very-
some
yes.
Mike B style breaking news.
Oh, joining us now
Oh.
from low at the foots of
RoboCop
Mount.
is coming to Mortal Kombat 11.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That one is a
Dallas
we
Lake
watched this
RoboCop?
morning.
Which RoboCop?
Peter
original.
Weller? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the original.
Why was I gonna say come with me if you want to live? That's the wrong freaking.
That's wrong killer robot.
It's funny because I know what
It's
this
cool.
typeface
You're thinking
is.
Dead or Alive. You're coming with me. I mean, it's
Yes.
like it's right there. It's a more aggressive come with me if you want to live.
But Fract OSC. So you walk into a dark world with no instructions, and as you solve puzzles, like little Tron-esque beams of light come out and start doing things, and there's musical cues that start happening, and you progress through this entire thing, and the whole game is basically inside of a synthesizer. So by the end of it, you are creating this giant arty Tron world from the inside that's a synthesizer and plays synthesizer music, which you can then subsequently control because the entire game taught you in puzzle form how to use it.
That's very cool.
Yeah, one of the most
So Chris,
arty
what
games
you're
I ever played.
saying is that the challenge is to put you in this game somehow, in a game with no faces or bodies.
Oh, no. It doesn't need to be all that. I just
Challenge accepted.
felt like VGM
Yep.
Wednesday.
Fract OST coming at you on my end.
But you're correct. There are no faces, no humanoids, no animals. It's literally all inside the synthesizer.
Yeah, I don't
He
know
was-
this image right here, Ian. I don't know how this can't just have Chris's face at the center of the machine.
I am the
That's
MCP.
true, yeah. Are you gonna go Fract OST? I can give you the typeface because I I know what that is.
Oh, all right, yeah. That's
I can just look
that
it
always
up.
simplifies
Mod.
things. I never mind making text. I actually really like doing
There you go.
typography,
Fract
but
OST, everybody.
we don't have to.
Oh.
That's also great.
Let's see.
Oh wait, I might
Fract.
have that one.
Yeah, it's one. Yeah, I thought they maybe changed the R and the A. They did not.
What is that
See,
one called?
this is what happens. This is why if you're gonna design the logo, you do something to it so that I can't just type it out on defont.com.
What is the name of that font? I can't read that on your screen.
Mod, M-O-D.
Oh.
And you know what's funny? I'm pretty sure I just saw a typeface when we were looking up stuff for Rezo Gun that looked just like the OSC on the bottom. Do you got this? Do you want to put Chris's face on something?
Yeah, I think we need to put Chris's face at the center
you-
of everything here.
Good
I
lord.
really,
Okay.
it's begging for it.
I'm gonna do something on my end too. I have an idea. And really, you know, that's
With you monsters,
what we
there's
come
no
here
game
for.
I could mention that I wouldn't regret. So we'll
man.
we'll live with it.
This really
I mean, we already have promises of you in Space Channel 5 uniform.
Yeah, that's already happened.
Mm-hmm.
I need Camber to help me
Cam-
with that
Yeah, Camber's gonna need help
costume
with
design.
that. Let's see, design stuff, projects.
She can be my dancing alien that I shoot. I mean, shoot.
Let's see, where's my stuff? Josh, I gotta ask, you're on the Mac?
Indeed.
On a Mac?
On a Mac. I wasn't a Mac person for a very, very, very long time. Oh, too many fonts. Mod. And it was, when was this? Probably 2015 or so, 2016. I had switched at my company from doing, I was the previous job that I worked at, they did a lot of business training, things like that. And so I was the person who was making online training courses in Flash. And of course, nobody knows Flash anymore. I kind of switched over to marketing. And when I did, my marketing manager said something along the lines, or maybe it was my IT manager, was like, hey, this guy who used to work here, who used to do your job, but everyone hated and he quit or was fired or whatever, he said that there was no way he could do his job without having a top-of-the-line MacBook Pro, like 17-inch or 19-inch or something massive. So it's just sitting here. None of us really want to use it. Do you want it? And I was just like, sure.
Yes.
I was like, I've never been a Mac person, but I'm ready. So they sent that over along with, which I still have. That company, side note, like fell apart. And
they're giving away Macs and stuff.
Well, yeah, that too. But no, the company's still around, but like they definitely shrank in size, and their IT got outsourced, which meant that they had poor tracking of equipment. So I still have that MacBook sitting here, along with something I absolutely adore, which is this Cintiq tablet. That's a Wacom tablet that's also a tablet.
Monitor.
So yeah, monitor. But that is a joy, and that was something he said he could not do his job. His job was making marketing emails and things and some print work. Like, it wasn't like you were doing high-end video editing or anything like that. But hey, I was like, cool. And from then on,
Hey,
I've just been that.
you joke about that, but I know coders that are all like, well, I can't code in anything except for a Mac.
Well, I think they're just not.
I mean, some of it is so Mac. It's very standard in a lot of like graphic design stuff. In fact, looking around for jobs myself, some people require that you have a MacBook. And
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a big deal. They have kind of like a hold on that market. I do have to say that it is easier. It was more of a visual thing. Windows has caught up with that. Mac, I hate how they freaking sort files and stuff, but it's something I guess that you get used to. Oh, like I can't. So on the Mac, every once in a while, it'll like mess up how it's sorted. Here on Windows, I can sort it by name and type. I just want that on the Mac. Please let me sort it by the name and the type of stuff. And not have it so sometimes it'll...
It's a little more hidden. It's there. It's just, it is less intuitive for sure.
Yeah. But, yeah, I've been on it since, like, college. It was just something that you needed to know how to use. Because at the time, there were, I don't know, maybe it was just, like, more... The monitors and stuff for it was, like, more attuned with, like, printing and everything.
Yeah.
But I think as time went on, like, I'm pretty sure there are monitors on the PC that can mimic the same color, color profiles. Because there's like certain specific color profiles. Like, let's see if I go in here.
Oh, that are just Apple, right? That's
Apple
the standard
specific.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's become a standard in the industry.
Well, and I'll say, like obviously nowadays, or as every year goes on, you can get a Mac or a PC to be as powerful and do whatever you want. Like it's really personal choice. And even most of the software has gotten pretty agnostic to platform. But as far as long-term use, I've probably had 15 PCs in my lifetime. Some I put together, some I bought. But whether Windows 10 has fixed this or not, those Windows PCs all like age and they get irrelevant at some point. But Lauren my wife is running a 2010 MacBook, not even a Pro, just a regular MacBook that she got for college. That thing is still running an OS as of, I think, maybe 2 years ago was her last
Yeah.
update. That thing, it's slow-ish if she's doing a lot of stuff, but it's totally usable. And I can't imagine having a 10-year-old PC that I could use. So, you know, that and the
I'm
virus
running on
stuff-
one right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's, well, there you go. You proved me wrong.
Well,
And it's funny
also
because-
had like upgrades and stuff too. Since
Sure.
It's funny because I've heard the opposite about a lot of MacBooks,
hmm
where you get an OS update and it just is super sluggish after that.
Yep. At work we've had to sometimes like be careful. Like there'd be tests. We would have guinea pigs of like, all right, new OS update. Only one of you will get it to see if it works. If it doesn't, then basically it's like who had the lightest load. You get to try it out this time.
Yeesh.
But yeah, that's been a problem. And then like the other big problem I think is the fact that you have to. It feels like you have to upgrade a lot because that's Apple's new way of everything. Is like, hey, just get the newest thing instead of like
Oh yeah,
be
that's
able to
that's
you
their,
know upgrade
their
anything.
model for sure.
That's one of the things I love about PC is my machine. I technically originally built it in 2011,
Mhm.
and I've just been upgrading parts here and there as I need to update something.
Oh yeah. That's why this thing's 10 years old technically. Like the main guts of this is 10 years old.
I'm trying to find that second font, that thinner one. I don't know if you're doing
Yeah,
the same.
I am also doing the
It
same.
is necessary now.
I'm gonna look for the weird O.
Yeah, that O and then the cut C, or cut S rather, is very noticeable.
A metal slug. So I'm gonna assume the metal slugs are in here just because of like the amazing pixel art.
I think that was the call there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
there is definitely.
That's
a
why I
lot
didn't
of,
submit a lot of songs, is because like amazing pixel art. Whoa, that's a lot.
Yeah, because KF needs to be on here.
Oh my
Any
goodness,
SNK
the list
stuff,
goes
like-
forever.
Yeah, SNK's
Yeah.
style was just so different from everything else and so uniquely theirs. That was always great. Like, especially, yeah, I mean, any of the fighting games, their shading styles were just like nothing else at the time.
Oh, I think I hear a doggy.
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely a sad dog outside of the gate who's
Oh,
not
no.
allowed in the room. So
Aw. Look at this, Tron. This is so Tron-esque except for this O. I think maybe
Pretty close.
sport typo will be the closest thing if we want to go Tron. The S and the C
Oh,
look
wait,
like it's very much it, except like, you know, outlined instead of not outlined.
yeah,
I'm gonna go for this sport typo. Sport typo.
easy for you to
Jeez.
say.
Maybe it's Sporty Po. Sporty PO.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Alright. I'm gonna download this Sporty PO.
Maybe we can stick Beltran in there as Ed Dillinger. Wait, no, he would be his program, not Dillinger.
So going back to Wind Waker, do you guys remember when you first heard about that game?
No, I heard a lot of controversy back in the day. This doesn't look like Zelda. It's like,
Oh, there was
but it's also
definitely
now-
a
Oh,
lot
so
of
much of that. Yeah.
yeah.
I remember people saying they would never play another Zelda game because it went to this cartoony look, and they wanted another Zelda 64. They wanted it to be that, but more realistic.
Well, because, and it probably didn't help. What was that before? I can't remember the timeline where this ended up, but I remember there was like a Tokyo Game Show maybe, where
Yeah.
they showed Link and Ganon fighting, and it was totally pre-rendered and everything else, but they're like, this is the Zelda that's coming out on GameCube. And then,
Yeah, I
Not so
don't remember.
much.
I don't remember if they had said that or if they were just saying it was like a tech demo. But yeah, I definitely remember seeing that demo
Yeah, it was like a cool
the
battle.
more
Like, it was
realistic.
great. Yeah.
I thought it was one of the coolest looking things ever because I was like, oh man, it's returning to cartoon form like the old games were. That's what the source art for the old games used to look like.
Yeah.
So I was way on board from the beginning. But yeah, oh man, there was so much online rage about Wind Waker.
Yeah.
No, people complaining online.
Yeah.
No.
Can you imagine?
And
Never.
now it's one of the more beloved versions of the series.
Yeah, between that game and not on an art front necessarily, between that game and Assassin's Creed Black Flag are the two games that I could just get in a boat and sail for a while and be so content. I think I'm supposed to live on the sea because
Oh, dude.
man, it's so nice. It's just so
Have
nice.
you played what is it, Sea of Thieves?
No.
So that's a game that
Oh my god.
my buddies are starting to get back into again.
Yeah.
And that is the same thing where I could just jump on a boat and be like, huh, all right, I'm cool with this. And then
Yes.
that's all you do? You steal
Like,
other
yeah.
people's boats?
Yeah, so oh my god, the game is so amazing. I played it when it first came out, and it's only on Xbox One and PC right now.
Yeah.
Probably all it'll ever be on is made by Rare. But when the game first came out, I just remember doing so many ridiculous things. Like I was hanging on the side of a boat waiting for some people to leave, and
Yes.
then I went after they left. They parked the boat and went to the island they were on, and my buddy was in our boat just hanging back so they didn't see us. And I jumped on their boat, found all these powder kegs, blew them up, and took the most expensive chest I could find, and just hightailed it out of there while they all sat on the beach and watched their ship sink.
Yeah, you get to really be a troll and be a real pirate. I do remember, like, my friends, like, we were doing the same thing. We're like, wait, where's our boat? And we're like, did somebody take our boat? It's just one of those weird things that random people can come in and screw with you.
Yeah, you can just steal their boat if you want.
But in a fun way. Alright, so this begs the question of, should I look for another image that might have Frank OSC video. Okay.
Yeah, although I will say, I guess the pirate songs in Black Flag were a big part of that. So if there's pirate songs in Sea of Thieves,
There are. You
play them yourself. By
Yes.
what
the way.
else do you need?
there are different instruments, and you can start playing instruments, and anybody around you that also starts playing will start playing
Play with
different
you?
parts of
Yeah.
that song.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's part of Microsoft's Game Pass. So if you subscribe to their Game Pass, you get that game. So it's
$10 for a month. Maybe I'll pick something up.
if you haven't signed up for it before, it's like $1 for the first month or two.
I've signed up twice. I guess
I've
I can
done
make a new email.
I've done it a few times at that $1
Oh,
discount.
yeah.
After you haven't been a part of it for a while, they offer you the $1 again.
Nice.
For those of you who don't know, oh wow, there's all these people. Okay, so I've been doing some due diligence and making friends and reaching out to people who've been playing Streets of Rage and other just like retro people. Sending them over to art pages and stuff, and now we're getting all these random likes on the VGM Wednesday Twitter.
Nice.
So
Did you update our avatar and stuff?
I haven't made one yet. I haven't had the chance, but I put the VGM girl on there. But we've got 5 retweets from people. I don't know.
Wait,
Blaze
what's
Fielding
this,
from
what's
Streets
this
of Rage.
VGM Wednesday?
Blaze Fielding fans.
Hold on.
Let's see.
Well, yeah, Chris invited one of the Streets of Rage guys to come on today, right?
Yeah. Lizard Cube. Yeah, look at that. Lizard Cube retweeted from VGM Wednesdays. Nice. Oh, and speaking of beat 'em ups, by the way, best beat 'em up right here.
What's
Good
that?
luck finding it anywhere. It's so if you're listening on Kumashine's stream on Discord, Scott Pilgrim, Curse of the World,
So good.
first stage too. It's such a good game.
I have that game on my PS4 with, I think, all the DLC, which is good because you can't get any of it anymore.
No, the last DLC I got was Knives. I don't know if that was the last one.
And I think Wallace came out later because I don't think he was originally part of the.
What?
Was he? I don't remember. There was
I don't
somebody.
know. Josh, if you want, we can. Oh, there you go. You have that stuff already. Perfect.
Yeah. You had sent me that. I
Um,
just did a copy because I was going.
Wallace is a fighter? That'd be. Oh man. Yeah, I totally missed out
throw
on
his
that.
keys
The
in your
last
head?
person I got was Knives. Was that Chris? Sorry.
I want to say
Would
one
he
of the
throw his
last
keys
things
into
they
your head?
added was.
It's kind of light there, Chris. I'm sorry.
Sorry, would he throw his keys into your head, Wallace?
Oh. Probably. Hopefully.
Did you say there's a VGM Wednesday Twitter?
Yes.
What is that?
Jerry made at VGM Wednesdays. Can we change it so that there's no S? I guess not anymore. Yeah, I've just been using hashtag VGM Wednesday on my end too. But I'm glad that it is kind of popping off over there.
So there was 2 DLC packs for Scott Pilgrim. There was the Knives pack, and then there was online multiplayer plus Wallace.
Online multiplayer, okay. I thought that it always was. Damn, totally missed out. I'm sure there are certain ways to grab it of somewhat legal means. All right. So this one is going to be a little more tough to, I guess. Oh, nope. You're not doing that. This is going to be tougher to kind of get rid of, mostly because of the fact that there's so many different textures and stuff on here.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
You got any
So wait,
hints or
I've
tips?
just looked over now. So wait, what are you trying to get? You're trying to get all of that electronic stuff in there?
Yeah, so I think I might just fake that.
I'd
Noir.
probably just like quickly screenshot that and throw it in Illustrator and draw some lines real quick, paste those back, and just add the glows in Photoshop.
Oh, I'm talking about this, like this kind of like, you see this, what does that call on the TV? Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
The scan
Like
line?
if you take, I guess scan lines. Like if you take a picture of your TV up close, you can see.
Oh, it's called moire pattern? That one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we want. MOIRE.
Yes. I don't speak French, so that's how I say it.
Moi.
Wow. No, we're just blowing kisses at each other at that point, so we can't do that.
Here we go. So look at this pattern. I'm just gonna. I don't want to keep saying steal. That's not the right word. Borrow heavily.
Artistically used.
Artistically use. The thing is, I can make this. All right. Plus that the illustrator. It's funny that the song is playing in the background and it's so heavy and like evil, and you're putting Chris's face on a robot right now.
Yup. It's very important.
Is this an art match? No. Art collabo. Freelancer.
Yeah.
Art collabo.
Where it's
Collabo to the
hopefully
death. Oh wait.
do the
Collabo
same
to the
thing
death.
slightly differently.
Yeah. It's just two different viewpoints. Which is funny. We've been talking about like the tech behind it, using the first Photoshop you use, or Mac versus like PC. I always go back to the thing that my teachers taught me, like, is the most important thing, is like it's all based on the idea.
Yeah.
not on how you get there. If you can't
Yeah.
get there a certain way, you find another way to get there.
Exactly. I had one teacher who would always just say that a computer is just a crayon that you plug in the wall. It's like, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. It's just another way to do it. So
Pretty sure George R.R. Martin, didn't need the best typewriter or keyboard in the world to be able to type anything. I can just imagine, you know what? I need the best Cherry MX switches. I need the clickety clacks. I need the best clickety clacks right now.
One of the things that I do miss that a lot of shows seem to ignore since they've gone digital is line weight on art.
Wait, shows? What do you mean by shows?
Like just animated shows.
Yeah.
Either anime, but actually a lot of popular anime seems to not pay attention to line weight anymore.
It's difficult, and that's something that we can probably ask Ben when he jumps on, because when you animate something, if you're animating line weight, imagine having to be consistent between frames on that, right? And I think that's why stuff like Guilty Gear. Man, I hope somebody put Guilty Gear stuff on here actually.
It's so weird though, because you used to see it in older animation.
Yeah. But that was a byproduct of actually having to do each cell, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So the line weight would change and kind of reminds me of well, not really Dr. Katz, but if
that
the hand
I know that look.
The hand drawn stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, the constantly squiggling lines. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that stuff. Line weight, lines in an image are, I guess, more important to me than even how things are colored sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Josh, I'm in the art subgroup for free play people, and I don't think I've done anything colored or shaded in. It's all just black and white lines.
Yeah, for sure.
One, for ease of use. Two, I tend to like things that look unfinished. I know that sounds weird, but I'm a bigger fan of the kind of the bones underneath stuff, the structure behind things, instead of the final something colored and amazing looking. That's great, but I sometimes like seeing the sketches that people have. I was for Streets of Rage 4, I was excited to look at all the iterations of different characters and their sketches, because that's kind of a peek behind the scenes, a process pretty much.
For sure. I mean,
like
that's
seeing your
when you see
process.
the blue pencil sketch underneath something. And you're just
Oh yeah,
that's where you started.
on top of that, it's cool because you just see I don't know, you see the process. You can see how that person is thinking, and you see mistakes, you see everything.
Speaking of, I haven't had a chance to watch this yet, but last Friday, I think it was, a friend of mine sent me the link, but I was busy just away from the computer all day Friday, and this was 2 Fridays ago, but I wasn't familiar with this person, but named Boss Logic, who I guess is yeah, and that they basically streamed for a little over 8 hours the creation of the Assassin's Creed Valhalla cover. And they just opened up Photoshop and built out the entire image over that 8-hour process, and you can just watch the whole thing come together, which the finished image, let's see if I can find that, which is gorgeous.
You know, that guy is started in the FGC stuff, or maybe not started, but I remember seeing him always make Street Fighter based things,
right?
And then all of a sudden, he's the reason why the Pokemon movie, the Detective Pikachu movie, looks how it is, because they're based it off of his realistic Pokemon and stuff. He was a creative director, art director for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that dude started off freaking memeing and making Street Fighter images, and then he got huge.
But here, yeah, this is the finished image, pasting into my screen right now. But that is he built over an 8-hour live stream.
Wow.
And it's just when I briefly pulled it up when my friend sent it to me, I saw that he had, he had this. There's my cursor. He had this section of wall that I'm circling right here.
Yeah.
And this was a separate piece that was layered on top, and he was adjusting the lighting on it and throwing a little shading on it and everything else, and scaling it, squashing it, doing everything. And it was just that part. And so he built in Photoshop this entire thing. I don't know how many of these assets. Unfortunately haven't been able to see how many of the assets were pre-drawn, or if all of this he's just in with a pen and going at it, or what. But
yeah,
the finished product is, I mean, it's gorgeous. And to know that someone just sat down and did that over the course of their 8-hour day is remarkable. It's such a beautiful finished product. And I don't know how much. I'm sure you've looked at quite a bit, knowing you, but any video game concept art that I've seen, that's a skill that I just don't even understand, because these are people who are putting out images that I would be happy to do, over the course of a few days, and they do 10 of them in a day, and it's quite a skill to have.
I'm pretty sure it's repetition, and the fact that you've done it so much. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And that's why I kind of tend to like maybe it's because I'm just lazy. I like the sketches and stuff, because I can't imagine like the small, like, okay, little bit of light here, and like I was never like that in any of like the art pieces that I like things quick and fast, because it showed there's like the ability to capture movement easier in that than something that's so still, you know what I mean?
Right.
But then again, it's never as like epic, grand, or like grandiose. Like I've done like still paintings and still drawings and stuff.
Right.
But maybe I lose interest very quickly.
Yeah. I've been working on this shoe for an hour, and I'm so fed up with it. Yeah.
Can I just draw the other shoe? I just want to draw the other shoe already.
Right. Exactly.
And unfortunately, that's how I feel with like I want to say that's how I feel with like video games, but I tend to pick up and try different things quickly. Like, okay, I played this for a little bit. All right, next thing. Like, no offense to Jackbox, I still love Jackbox. But if I play that like 5 nights in a row, I'm gonna have to chill on like the next night or so and like play something not Jackbox.
Right. I understand that.
Let's see. I'm gonna fake my own noir. 55-0.
Oh man.
So
wait.
I'm literally doing RGB.
Now it's time to do a search to see if there's a such thing as noir.
Pattern? Yes. I already looked it up, but they're all black and white, and I'm gonna I'm gonna make it RGB on my own. I just kind of.
There needs to be more noir, and it needs to be a fragrance by Calvin Klein.
Just watching Josh F clone out all those white edge pixels. That's my bad.
I don't know why it was bothering me so much, but here we are.
Come on out of that Jackbox life. Lego, you're new to it. That's why. Come back to me when you've played it since Jackbox 2. One can draw only so many penises.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Phallic fallacies.
No, I'm amazed you gave up so easily.
I mean,
only so many penises.
I know. I'm a failure. Let's see. Whoa, what happened? No, cancel. What song is this?
It's quite happy, whatever it is.
I like it.
Oh, Mario Paint, yeah, sure. What part?
Oh, I should have.
Oh, the bugs.
Mario...
Man, the smashing the bugs with the fly swatter was a fun game.
Difficult.
Very difficult.
Eventually.
Because of the input device used.
Yeah. All right, so am I getting what I need to out of this noir or moire? Oh, we're back again? Oh, what am I? Did I screw that up?
Oh.
Of course I did. Man. Okay, hold on. One more time.
I was keeping my eyes on my own paper, so I didn't.
Man, isn't cheating.
No, I've got a textbook and it's covering up my screen, so you. Can't see it.
Hey, quit watching on my side of the screen.
Have you seen the pictures of the people straight up like making like cardboard box like forts and stuff? I remember somebody brought that in an Evo once. They
Oh, yeah.
brought like a screen so that you couldn't see their buttons.
Mhm.
It was for KOF, I think. It was one of the Korean players. They like straight up brought a stand that they can put their joystick on, and then a straight up screen so that their opponent wouldn't look at their buttons.
It's right back to the cardboard plus signs of GoldenEye, right?
Right? Yeah. This is about the time that the Withers argue about fighting each other in GoldenEye, but alas, they're not with us right now.
Part of my original community group that worked out of UTD, I guess. I guess that's how you would frame it. We had my next door neighbor would always come over and always yell at us for looking at his screen, whether we were or not. So it got to the point where I put him in another room playing Halo 2 completely by himself, and we'd still hear him yelling, "Stop looking at my screen!" from the other room. It was great.
And I kind of miss those, like, you know, couch co-op-ish days. There's no way that... I guess it's not even practical anymore. Like, the Switch, you figured that they'd have way more of those, considering TVs are gigantic nowadays.
Streets of Rage 4, couch co-op.
Streets of Rage 4,
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm talking about the ones with, like, 4 different screens. Mario Kart's, like, the only thing I can
gotcha.
think of.
What was that? What's that racing game that's got Horizon? I think that's only 2-player though.
Horizon.
Hold on. It's like an old. What's it called? It's not Forza. Horizon Chase. Horizon Chase is this like if you ever played Top Gear on the Super Nintendo, it's very much that feeling. It's just you're racing towards the horizon sort of thing. It's just a very basic racing game, but I'm pretty sure it's got at least 2-player split screens, so that's something.
Why is this not moving like I wanted it to?
Well, I guess, yeah. Maybe racing games do it more. Looks like there's Trackmania on the Xbox does 4-player split screen. So that's pretty cool.
Alright. Made my own fake noir.
Sorry, clipping
What's
for the
that?
e-break.
Oh,
E-break,
wait,
5
what
p.m.
happened?
You'll see it.
I hope you catch some of the stuff from Lion King and.
I do. I have a Lion King
yesterday's-
entry, and I have a
Yesterday's
see you in 8
Sonic
minutes.
glitches.
Yeah, I got one. Holy cow.
Yeah, I totally grabbed some Lion King ones. The Lego one is still funny to me because it was a little bit actually kind of like upset, but also like trying to be funny about it. Upset being like, dude, there's lag. When you're telling me this, it's gone. It's totally gone. Timing. Sorry, Lego. Funny that the more effect is animated on stream. Oh, we got that long pause again for Mario Paint, man. It's trying to get to that last track.
Don't let it.
Here, I'll move it. Or nope, got it. Oh, here we go. Third strike stuff. Those were really cool looking.
Yes,
sprites.
yeah. See you in 8 minutes was already clipped.
You in 8 minutes? Oh yeah. See you in 8 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. I was playing. Guess I shouldn't explain it before we do the e-break.
Josh, are you done already? Damn.
I'm trying to think about what to put on there. I'm brainstorming. I'm also deciding if I like lots of colors behind VGM Wednesday or not, and I'm going back and forth.
Lots of colors.
Yeah, I've got this like repeating drop shadow behind it, using some colors from the image, and it's a look. I think I'm gonna stick with it. It doesn't stick to the original as much, but too bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, what is this little square of stuff?
Oh, where?
All right. I forgot I grabbed a square or something,
Oh.
but yeah, this is what we're gonna do. This is what happens when you gotta fake some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Fake it till you make it. It's most of my career. Look at that. See, same color gray. We'll make that a little lighter. I think that's the one thing that once you start getting into Photoshop and manipulating things, it's all about making it look like you didn't do anything.
Exactly.
This entire job is pretty much that.
Yeah, and then doing it to the point where you're like, I wouldn't see it, but somebody like me might, so I'm gonna have to get really in there.
Yeah.
I don't want someone else to spot it.
I can tell this is a Photoshop because of the pixels.
Stop looking at my screen, bro. But yeah, it's I don't want to say it's sad. It's one of those things where you realize that if something looks good, and if you don't know why it looks good, it's like, oh, of course, it's supposed to be that way. Somebody had to think of, yeah, that looking that way for a reason. Why is this not going away, like, at all? Oh, it's right there. That's right.
Man, talking about Sea of Thieves earlier, and now I really want to play it.
Right? Would that be something you'd be willing to
Oh, absolutely.
stream with viewers? I was talking to Shannon about this, and I think it'd be cool too, because so everyone doesn't have a PC, right? Unfortunately / unfortunately, mostly unfortunately, I guess. But if there's any cross-platform stuff to stream, just so that we can get a little bit of everybody playing together, there aren't that many games though that are like that.
What would be an example? Like cross-platform where we play each other, or cross-platform where we play different games on the same platform, on different platforms, or same game, different
cross-platform where we play games with each other. So the examples that we were talking about were things like Call of Duty, the Warzone one, because that is something you can play on the PlayStation and on the PC.
Phantasy Star Online 2 comes out on PC later this month, and that is crossplay with the Xbox One version.
Do you know if Pirates is the Sea of Thieves?
It is.
There you go. That's one. Talking about, what else were we talking about? This game called Dauntless is a cross-platform. I remember I downloaded it on my Switch, so it's like Switch and PC compatible. And the cool thing about that is you could download it on your Switch, play it on there, and then jump back into your PC and play it on there too if you wanted to, which I thought was neat.
I do want to say I want to keep the momentum that we've got going as far as like the community aspect of this Twitch channel. Like I don't want to lose things. Of course, this show is, which is my favorite, but more than that, just playing games here and there in the community, giving things a rip in off hours just because why not? It's a good game. We can try it, and building this channel up to the point where hopefully we'll be a partner one day and we can just sub out and make a team free play and have Ian broadcast off a team free play and Jerry broadcast off a team free play and just do as it should be.
What are the goals for that, by the way?
What do you mean?
Isn't there like things to hit for partner?
And we've already hit them. 75 average viewers. I want to say it's like 12 hours streamed in a month. I think we've hit that this month.
Is there like a number of followers kind of thing?
No, it's average viewers and time broadcasting and unique streams. We've already hit all those before. Having 75 average viewers streaming 24 hours a day isn't really plausible. Well, I guess it's possible if you really go viral, but I mean, I just sort of like until we get there, just continuing to keep this kind of spirit of everybody playing together and even when we're not at the arcade playing together and doing interesting things.
I saw something last night that we're missing. We're missing an ASMR show.
I mean, I can call Bree.
I saw a Twitter or I saw a Twitch account. That's definitely not ASMR. I saw a Twitch account last night that had 7,100 viewers.
Mhm.
And it's just this dude playing Apex Legends while doing ASMR.
I mean, I do know Bree. I can just put a big picture of Beltran there and she's good to go.
ASMR arcade sounds. Just record just record free play kind of empty. Unfortunately.
I wonder if we could
machine out in the background.
I wonder if we could get Jerry to hack the audio files of a classic game into ASMR sounds. Like everything is an ASMR sound, so we just play the game.
Pan it left and right. Well, speaking of ASMR, what was that last thing that was playing? Oh, I'm clicking on this like I can actually press left and right.
Yeah, just go ahead and click back button on that window. Oh, no.
So more effective animated on stream. Seeing one of Paul Varghese' comedian friends has a joke about what makes comedy funny. I don't know what this is referring to, Lego. Sorry, I'm bad at reading stream stuff. Rocket League is cross-platform. That's another one. Dauntless is free, and so is that Call of Duty game. That's why I wrote those up.
Dauntless, yeah.
It is not Monster Hunter, I'll tell you that.
It's definitely not Monster Hunter. It wants to be.
It has a lot of grinding in it, for sure. Not the good kind. Smite is free. Dude, Yagov, I bought a license to Smite a long time ago, and so I got all the characters, and I think I should be able to get them all still, but I loved that game. That's how I learned about the gods. Certain ones. All about the ape god, the guy that Goku's based off of. What was I gonna? I was gonna try to put Chris in this.
Yeah, you got it.
I will. Let's see.
I mean, you don't have to.
I have to.
Oh,
Requirement.
I mean, I have to. I think I'm just gonna do Keaton just because he's just gonna be in there anyway with the headphones.
I'll blow your mind.
Sun Wukong.
Keaton's
yeah,
a she.
Sun Wukong. Keaton's a she? Okay.
Yeah.
She's still pretty cool.
She
Keaton,
is,
I'm
she
just gonna
is.
leave as is. Because it says soundtracks by Mongy Grumbles. She's Mongy Grumbles right now. Sorry, Mongy. Or Money? Money? That typeface is hard to read.
Oh man, I think that's the last thing I have to do before I give up on this e-break stuff is find when Keaton had my roommate covered in blood and interrupted the stream.
Jeez.
So that's a true e-break right there.
Oh hey, Streets of Rage art exhibition. I was like, what song is this? Apparently some of the people who worked on it were like people from like the Hotline Miami soundtrack, which is a great soundtrack, great game. The art in it is also very awesome.
It's great. Every element I've seen in Streets of Rage 4 is great.
Where would save free play? I keep forgetting where we put your faces. Chris
You
Kitty.
just keep forgetting
Oh,
it. Just keep forgetting it. It's okay. It's
Chris
okay.
Chicks.
You'll
There
be
we
alright.
go. I do like how, you know, every time I look at this, there's this picture of Jeremy. Gotta wait for it to pop up, but this real life non-Photoshop version picture.
I was thinking
There we
about
go. Oh no! Yeah.
I hope you don't mind Keaton, like Flyboy Keaton, interfering with Mike B News lately.
it. You know
Oh
what's
no!
kinda
I don't.
creepy about that real life Withers photo that you just showed
Yeah?
is that it reminds me of
This
what
one?
we were thinking. Yeah, we as a family when we first moved to Texas, we went to Six Flags, and they had the thing where you can just go get your photo taken, and they photoshopped it onto a body and
Oh,
then, like,
yeah.
print it out or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I can't tell you why, but my parents thought it would be so great that me, who was probably 11 or 12, and my brother, who's like 13 or 14 at the time, they got basically both of us on those bodies. And like
Chippendale
against a big
bodies?
heart or something, and I'm just like, okay, that's what we're doing then. All right, cool. We're just gonna have two prepubescent boys with bow ties and ripped bodies, and that got printed on like a
I mean-
a piece of felt or something that was like 15 inches by 15 inches. and
Felt.
it was something weird. It was a weird, yeah, no, felt doesn't make any sense, so it probably wasn't that. And I wasn't like, not like a black felt Elvis painting. It was just, it wasn't paper. It was a weird fabric of some sort that they were printed on. So,
Well,
it was something.
I mean, it makes sense. What else are you gonna make your Christmas cards, right?
Right? Yeah.
That's why you have kids,
that's the number one reason right there.
right? There's gotta be. I know there's a way to make this work. Damn it! I will find it.
What are you trying to do? What you got?
I will find you. Neon edges. I know there's like the fake, terrible neon edges, glowing edges, even more. No. Note paper. I'm trying to get it so that it's just the edges of his face.
Right.
Oh my god.
This is one I don't know, honestly. I've not done that.
This is just me looking through.
It basically looks like you're a weird predator scanning through many
Did someone call for a
Singles.
weird predator?
of seeing. Oh, wow. No, I did not at all say that Ian is a weird predator. I was saying
No, man.
that,
I'm a regular sized predator, okay?
yeah. No, this is Predator 2. This is him switching through his many visions.
Man, speaking of which, I know there's like that new Predator game that sounds like it should be amazing, but I have not heard good things about it.
Oh, well. Who's it by?
I forget, but like it's one of those like a 3v or 4v ones where it's like 4 people are like the humans and then one player gets to be the Predator, which again sounds like it should be cool, especially nowadays. You know what, Chris? I am gonna just make this. Let's see. Let's be good about this and smart. Josh, if you're done, you can feel free to do the extra track of the day if you'd like.
What's the extra track of today?
We just take a random picture of like, I don't know, Mike's assless chaps or something weird like that. And we just
Okay,
put it
I'm
in
already
another
against
image.
this. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Alright, we won't end today's stream with assless chaps because we have other guests eventually. But I mean, feel free to put Chris
Special
in
edition
anything
later.
else,
Sure.
or any of the other VGMers. We put Dylan and Ray in like Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze. Alright, there's gotta be a way to do what I want to do.
There always is. It's just, what is the trick? So
Right.
just around the edge, like, do you want more than just, not just the outline of him, right? You want like you want it to pick up his glasses and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, I'm just trying to simplify the face, so I'm gonna just simplify it even further, and then even further sharpen edges. I'm trying to make it so that it's like an outline, kind of like the images here. Oh, okay, that's a little closer, maybe.
Yeah, that's,
not quite, but
it's looking good.
I will.
It's overly detailed, but it's lines. That's kind of fun.
Let's see, and then there's something in here. Was it neon glow? Nope.
No, that'd be too easy.
Nah. It's all about finding the thing to make your image the way you want it to be. Alright, glowing edges. Closer. Oh my gosh, that's okay. We will have random digitized Chris instead. Just the random after image of Chris as pixels and dots.
He's
not
left
even
this
lines.
world. He's down to his RGB components.
Yes.
He's been derezzed in a way. Chris, come back. Oh, no, you're not. You're not here.
Let's see, how do I do this with making it interfere too much in there? Let's put more of this in the background. I'm sure we can we can mess with this. I forget what game was that. It's like I know what that should be from, but it's funny, that scratch noise that you hear in the background right now. I used to own this game called, I don't mean it's a game, MTV Music Generator. Does anyone ever remember playing that?
I never played it, but I remember. Oh man, yes, I remember knowing of it.
It was on the PS1. It was also on the PC. I remember buying it randomly. I was like, okay, make your own. My first thought was like, oh, I can make my own ringtones. Right? But yeah, I just remembered the samples for it, and this record that you hear in the background is totally a sample from it. And every time I hear it, I just always thrown back to that specifically. Alright, Chris, we found a way to put you in here, so...
Oh my god. Well done.
It's been rezzed. Wait, how do I...
Well done.
What's your face? Okay, there you go.
Good lord.
Delete, please. Yes. Apply mask. Now, how do we make... Actually... Normal... Let me select just the black. Select... Sure. Delete. There we go. We're getting there. Making things happen. I'm gonna make things glow. Street Fighter again? Second Impact. I don't think
You
I've
don't know
heard.
the Second Impact soundtrack just off the top of your head?
I think I've skipped over Second Impact. I've never really played it.
I think it's hard to play it, isn't it? I think it's hard
I
to.
think Second Impact.
I know Arthur
remember
got it. Arthur got it in for a TNF once, didn't he, Chris?
So the CPS3 games are very unreliable. They tend to break down a lot and blow themselves up. Third Strike is the main CPS3 game, so most of them are sacrificed to Third Strike. And it actually is an interesting game. It plays it plays fast. It's much faster than Third Strike is, but has infinites and all kinds of wacky combos. It feels like an alpha game almost. Different art style too. It's worth a look, but you know, Third Strike is of course the gold standard of Street Fighter 3 play. But kind of like Stun Runner. You don't see a lot of Stun Runners around because people steal the yoke and make Trons out of it. Not Trons. Star Wars Arcade.
Oh, sure.
Cuphead. I remember I've heard this. Cuphead is another one of those animated by hand,
Yes.
freaking amazing games.
Oh yeah, they threw that on the Switch, didn't they? I've not had an
Yes.
Xbox in my life. I've been apparently a hardcore Nintendo and Sony fan. Yeah, I need to grab Cuphead on the Switch, and I guess hate myself is what I'll do as soon as I start playing it. Is what I hear. So,
It's a little rough sometimes, but it's not too bad.
all right.
It's not
On that
Treasure
note, I still
Master.
have never touched a what are they called? I can't like Bloodborne and those games.
Oh yeah, the Souls games and stuff.
Yeah, the Souls games. No. I hear about them and I'm like, you know what? If I were still a teenager and sitting in my room for like 8 hours a day playing games, I never minded difficult games, but it's
Yeah.
a different time. It's a very different time.
Yeah, now I'm a 30-year-old sitting in my room playing games all day instead.
Yeah.
I ain't got
What?
time for that.
You want your gratification.
I'm too old for this shit.
Oh no.
Let's see. I think maybe that's the most I can do with that. Can I overlay this? Nope.
Oh no, wait, I should have a cat in here.
I should have a cat in here.
Yeah, why don't... Yeah, there he is. Nice. I like it.
I have multiple Chris's.
I feel like he needs to be just kind of peeking up.
Maybe not multiple Chris's.
It's more than the word can take. Sneaky Keaton, don't tell him.
I need this to glow more. Yeah, this is usually the spot where the Withers will talk over my silence as I try to figure out how to do something. That's what I need, man. I need fillers.
I heard you're not supposed to eat those, so maybe no.
I mean, we've all had a hot dog.
Hot dogs are only made of two things because I've seen the Great Outdoors too many times. Shout out Great Outdoors.
Are the two things like anus and...
One is lips.
Ah,
Yep.
what better to taste you with?
Exactly.
That's always funny when
I don't
people...
think you know how lips work.
Oh, that's
What?
true.
Lips are for
My bad.
tasting.
They
I
definitely.
like that I went right along with that too. I'm like, yeah, that's obviously how we all taste food with our lips.
We smack our lips, and then we eat lips.
Yeah.
But no, I always find it funny that people are like, oh, gross, this? It's like, have you had a hot dog before? Like, yeah. Well, you've already had, like, anus and lips, apparently.
Yeah.
You've already had the worst thing ever. Spam is gross, but you've had a hot dog.
Yeah. And hey, if you haven't had fried spam, Like just toss it in a pan, saute it. Pretty good stuff.
And then you've never been to Hawaii.
Exactly.
I actually sought out a Hawaiian restaurant just so I could have whatever it is that they find makes spam edible.
Seaweed wrap and rice.
That sounds like sushi.
Yeah.
Spam musubi. It's usually there. I notice it's eaten with things that are a lot more. I wouldn't say bland, because like I know poi is kind of I don't want to say tasteless, but spam and rice. You don't just straight up eat like cuts of spam like you're eating a steak. It's like a hot dog that needs more bread. Can we change the hue of this?
Always.
Of course I can change the hue of this. What am I doing? It's like this doesn't match. Why does this not match? Maybe because it's not the correct colors, but there we go. Now it's the right colors and right densities.
Your
and
density
brightnesses.
has lost you.
Shannon says it was spam that got her here.
Wait, into this world you mean, or like to this chat?
I assume both.
Because if spam is what got you into this world, then congrats on your parents.
Yeah. All right. I think
Okay.
I'll stop playing around. I'll call that good. It is 1:45. We're running
Yeah, this
into our
one,
time limit here.
I'd say I'm done. We've got a Keaton. Keaton should go in here. I like that actually. Got a Keaton and a Chris in a de-resed video game on my end.
Yeah.
VGM fracked.
What I see here is a profile picture and a background. 2 winners.
But there you go. And an extra track. You know what? No, this isn't even an extra track. We're just gonna make it part of the post itself. So I'm gonna see because I haven't seen Josh's yet. I'm born of whiskey and spam. Oh boy.
Wow. Welcome.
Welcome to this world. Oh, I like the Keaton peeking over the M.
Thank you.
Nice. Well, there you go, Chris. You are in the game that you had mentioned.
Thank you. Big fan.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
that game.
Where do you want a file? I can dump you a file somewhere.
Oh
Facebook
yeah,
app is probably fine.
and just JPEG. Oh, just post it in the post actually.
Oh, yeah,
I'll
that
grab
makes
it
sense.
from there and put it in the.
JPEG is never fine. PNG for life. No, sorry.
But I have quick
No,
export
as far as
JPEG.
Facebook is concerned, it doesn't matter. Facebook's like, cool, let me see. I'm going to compress this down 10 times over. You hate
That's
yourself.
PNG, we're just gonna. I always use PNG as like something that needs a call it a transparent background.
No, honestly, that is something I did figure out is that from from sending Chris 1,000 images over Facebook chat, because that's usually been our way of contacting through work, that
Yeah.
Facebook chat specifically will seemingly not recompress a PNG, but you feed it a JPEG and it jumps all over it. So
Oh yeah. It changes
Yeah.
all the names and stuff. So yeah. It's not. It's
you
not.
want it
fun.
on the post that you made on the
Oh,
community
yeah,
group?
I will. Let me see. I have to turn those off just in case the DFC starts blowing up, so you don't hear ding ding every.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Often.
that'd be that.
Because those dudes love to chat.
There we go.
Here. I'm just gonna follow your post on there.
That works.
Nice. So, how was your first VGM Wednesday? Was this cool?
Oh, I mean, I got to play around in Photoshop, so it was fun. And I'm not going to say embarrass Chris, but make Chris the center of attention, which is always fun just because it makes him squirm a little. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go hyperventilate for about 5 minutes now.
Yeah.
Only 5.
That's all I got.
Fine.
Let's see. Where did I save this? I'm good at this. VGM.
Recent.
I have so
files.
many.
Oh, this is the
where
point
did I
where
name this?
now after the fact I looked and I'm like, did I do a typo on Wednesday? No, it's good.
Wednesday. I always have to say it that way.
Oh, yeah.
just
Me too.
Nope.
Me too.
Always
sure.
say it in the head. Wednesday.
How I
More
learned how to
steps
spell
over music.
Renaissance when I was in like middle school was I always said it Renaissance.
And get an extra S in there too.
Renaissance. Yeah. Bus in
And then
S.
they put you in a special class for stuttering, and it was just downhill.
Come on, fract. There you go.
Fract?
Fract OSC.
Frat, the new game with Sarah Palin.
The fract. See Russia from our house.
Yes, you can.
Shoot, I need the I
More
Love Free Play
Scott
overlay.
Pilgrim. Alright, Chris Fract.
I'm a fan.
Well, actually, no. We should make the. I don't know how disappointing this might be for our next guest, but if we start adding faces to this,
To the Streets of Rage.
to his Streets of Rage stuff, would
Yeah.
they be upset?
I mean, you could just hang in the background and be like, whoop, there we go.
I'll just be
mean-
quiet. I won't say what's being done in the background.
It's layers, Ian. It's fine. You turn those layers off. It's like it never happened.
It's true. He'll ask, "Hey, what's that?" Just turn it off real quick.
Yeah.
Nothing. I need to get like a, I don't know, Excel sheet up there. Or a
I would
picture
just
of an
ask him
Excel
without
sheet.
embarrassment. Because
See,
there's no
it's-
harm in asking.
Oh, that was one of the Windows Power Tools things, wasn't it? Was that Windows Power Tools? What was that? Well, we used to have a thing that you could hold down a key in the middle of playing the game, and it would pop up an
It-
Excel sheet.
So it was totally what was it? An extension on Firefox back in the day
That's
where
what it was. That's
you
right.
can click it and it becomes an
Yeah.
Excel sheet.
Yeah. Extremely helpful. Oh man. Back in the days when it was actually a pretty big market to get like a little wide angle mirror that's 2 inches across to put on your monitor. So, keep an eye
That
on your
still is like
coworkers.
pretty perfect. Here we go. Nothing, sir. Just
Yeah, I
doing
like that it literally
business.
says business expenses. It just that's the unicorn in the Lego movie just going business numbers.
and then in the background you just hear
Yeah, exactly.
up, and I just killed all my stuff. What is happening?
Oh no.
No, we're good.
You're like, wait, where's the focus of my mouse?
Doing business things, sir.
Yeah, obvious business things.
And it makes sense with this music that's happening in the background. Although, is this Cuphead again?
Yeah.
Man, yeah, this randomizer on this YouTube, not that great. I think it's because we tossed so many freaking songs in there.
Yeah,
Let's,
because I'm looking
here.
at the up next, and it's literally like 3 Streets of Rage in a row, then Cuphead, then a different game, and then 2 Mario Paints in a row. So
It's like we've been there before, man. Okay,
Hold on,
so I'm
hold
gonna
random.
because I haven't heard it yet. I'm gonna put the
Be right back. I'm gonna go
transistor
hyperventilate. Be right back.
things on there.
oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Gonna have this in the background just because
Get some
it's
good jazz.
the thing
in
that we both like. Started off the show with.
there. Electronic jazz. What else more do you need?
Hold on, I'm gonna go to the opening
Oh, yeah.
soundtrack. Yeah. Again, great. I should play through this game. I bought it again for the Switch just because.
Yeah. yeah.
Because I've never played it through doing just the regular action combat. I always did it through the action points thing, just like press pause and
Oh, right.
yeah.
Who?
That was what's cool about this is like you can do combat in like 2 different ways.
Think so.
So-
Oh, right. They did. So it was by Supergiant, and they did Bastion, which I never played, but I know is beloved.
Bastion's a great one, actually.
Yeah. But I guess that was it. Huh.
They did Hades now. Let's see.
Oh, Hades, yeah. Hades Empire. So 4 games total between 2011 and now.
But they've all been like, as other Josh would say, bangers.
Yeah. No Pyre.
Supergiant games. Yeah, Hades. I don't think I've seen Pyre.
But the you know, you pull that up, even the cover art looks pretty unique and cool. Really cool look.
Pull that up. Yeah, they have a very distinct. You can tell that they probably are using kind of the same illustrator.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, speaking of Illustrator, probably up in a few. Chris, if you're in the background, do you know if our next guest, has our Discord and everything?
Oh yeah, 5 minutes out, probably.
Feel free to stay on, man. I'd love to, like, if you have questions for him and everything too, since we're both arting.
Yeah. I can probably stay down for a little bit because I would like to listen.
Oh yeah.
Also,
If you have to go too, then you
Yeah.
have to go. Yeah. You don't want to keep anybody.
Yeah.
That's actually something we've been trying to discuss. Like, what's gonna happen when, like, work returns for everybody? And it's starting to show a little bit because we're missing the.
Yeah,
the
we're down
Withers bros
100% of Withers. Yeah.
Yeah. We need to get Tommy on here. Tommy Wheeler, the unofficial other Withers brother.
Oh, I didn't know he'd been adopted into the family. That's great.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. I mean, there is a third Withers brother. Already.
There is?
Yup. He's a lurker.
What? Does he?
Yeah.
Are you for real? Like an
I am
actual
100% telling the truth. Josh and Jeremy would back me up. But he exists. I've seen him. I've seen him one time, but I don't think he's an arcade guy. And so they just...
Interesting.
or a game guy in general, they don't talk about him because I think they're embarrassed.
What's funny is Tommy is the adopted with his bro, but he plays Claw
Yeah.
and Boxer. So what the hell, Jeremy?
No one likes Ryu. Come on.
Waiting for him to pop on now, like, hey guys, I'm gonna take back the stream now
And what?
get the song stopped.
Chris knows of the third Withers brother. He's a real thing, right, Chris? You've met him.
Oh yeah, Jinpachi Withers. Yes. Yeah,
He's been stuck in a basement somewhere in Tokyo.
Yeah, he's like I mean he's an older Withers. It's like it is like you guys like took a picture of Jeremy and Josh, collabed and photoshopped an older version.
Yeah.
Like it's a trip to see him.
Yeah.
Ooh, Okami. Okay, I'm digging this. Let me make a Streets of Rage one. So Chris, I don't know if you heard. I was checking to see if our next guest has our Discord.
Yeah, he's on the Discord.
Oh.
Are you in contact with him?
No.
Oh
No,
okay.
we were just trying to make sure it was all teed up to hop over to him when he needs to.
Yeah, he should be able to pop on. Grab my phone.
Actually, is he calling in from a different country, correct?
Yes, Paris, France. It is
Oh.
8:59 p.m. for him, so he's putting the kids away,
Okay.
and then he'll come join us. He's already confirmed with me today. Perhaps it was yesterday for him. I don't know. I don't know how all this time stuff works.
I hear it keeps on ticking.
Yes.
That's all I know.
No, that's Timex actually.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
don't
talk to
know
him. Oh, like he
why
did,
people
he did
were
the 6
looking to watch.
characters. This is a preview of things to come. I'm so glad that Akira is on here from Rival Schools. You can tell he's a fan. D&D, yeah, Capcom D&D. Golden Axe. Got Mega Man for everybody. That's so cool. See, so this is something that I'm like not good at, like putting down colors, right? I tend to concentrate more on like lines and stuff, and his Streets of Rage is like a good like use of both. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, because it is a question of when in the process that is. You know, is it after
Yeah.
line work, or is it the initial?
It's why I've never been good at like painting like itself, or maybe I just never really got into it as much because even
Yeah,
with painting,
I'm sure
I
like
want to draw
anything,
like
it's
a
practice.
thick line.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like stuff like this where it's like really cool line work versus that this golden axe right here where you know that's like swatches of like color and like more of a painterly style.
Yeah. But also still
I'm a-
sharp. It looks like.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'll be honest, the artwork is kind of what got me into Streets of Rage 4 because I never really played the other ones. I was unfortunately not a Sega boy. I was one of the SNES boys.
That's right.
I didn't live that Notorious B.I.G. lifestyle with like 2 consoles. That was unheard of. 2 TVs were unheard of back in the day too. Yeah. So I got to play Final Fights. I own Final Fight 2, I think. Was it the first time that there was not Mai? What's her name? The girl with like the sticks.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. But my brain is empty.
Yeah.
Also, I'm distracted by a cat who likes to walk onto my desk and slowly push. He's not a pusher. He doesn't like take his paws and push stuff off. What he likes to do is just take his body and wedge it in places that his body doesn't fit, and then things just fall because of it. And he looks around like, "Whoa, why is all this stuff falling everywhere?"
Sorry for throwing it to an ad, the wrong button. 45 seconds of ad now. It's right next to the edit stream info. Great. Good job, Chris.
I don't see an ad. Oh, maybe because I'm subscribed, I guess.
Maybe.
This playlist does replay a lot.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
something that we were running through. We were running the playlist on YouTube through something else so that it doesn't replay. I don't know why it repeats, even though you have it on freaking shuffle. Need for life. Check the update on our tweet.
Sorry about that.
I hope somebody asked about DLC. People are already asking questions.
You gonna stick around and help me out?
Yeah. Yeah, I can stay on. I have questions.
You guys have more pertinent questions from an art guy than I ever could. Me, I'm just gonna be Chris Farley over here. Do you remember that time when you drew Axel from a game 25 years ago? That was awesome, man.
You do have the list of Penelope questions.
I do.
The color one being
Always.
very important this time,
Well, yeah,
right?
I gotta remember the color one. I keep forgetting lately.
Yeah. Because that means a lot from a... Oh, actually, we should ask Josh some Penelope questions. Have you
Absolutely.
been asked?
I have
He is
not.
not. Let's find this.
These are important.
Yes, they
sir.
are. They are important.
Right.
If I can figure out how to DLC over to Penelope. There she is. All right. Let's see. Josh, what's your favorite Nintendo character?
That's a hard one. But yeah, probably Yoshi. Yoshi's hard. So Yoshi's a very enjoyable character, but also there's not a lot going on with Yoshi. There's not a lot of personality there. But as far as favorites, based off of my thousands of games of Mario Kart and tennis and everything else that I've played, I almost always land on Yoshi or Wario. So it's gonna have to be one of those two.
Yoshi had the first time answer for that one. Let's see.
Like I said, there's not a lot going on. I mean, what does Yoshi make some noise? Eats some fruit. Comes in multiple
everybody
colors.
likes cars, right? That's Mario's car.
That's true.
His first Mario Kart.
Please smack Yoshi in the back of the head. So he'll eat.
What's your favorite book or movie genre?
Book is gonna be sci-fi. I think I've enjoyed that the most. Shout out to Toya for turning me onto The Expanse, because that's a really good series. Movie? I don't think I have a favorite movie. That's too hard. Does anyone have a favorite movie genre? I guess if you're a horror fan, you love horror, but I only sort of like horror, so I don't think I have one.
I like good movies, so that's always a fun one. And of course,
yeah, exactly.
Of course, the most important question: what's your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue.
Yes.
Is there just generic blue? Is there a specific type?
Yeah, you gotta be more specific. You're an artist, sir.
Not a royal blue, but really most every blue will do because it's the best color.
There you go.
The whole spectrum of blue.
Yeah, I mean, the cyan on this picture here with Chris is the best color of the picture. My car is blue. I can't stop. Anything blue is great.
Yeah. Ian, he definitely does have it. He's in the special guest on stream.
Okay. Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Hey.
Let me give him max volume.
Yeah, we can hear you. I'm gonna turn you up as well.
Yeah, because Discord is
Very light. Let me turn on the music a little.
Is that okay?
It's finicky sometimes. I think we're okay on my end. Does it sound okay, stream?
Yeah, I can hear him. He's a little quiet, but oh well. I'm not listening on the stream. I'm in the Discord. Thank you.
How are you, Ben?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm just it's actually 9 p.m. here, and the kids are finally asleep, so I can finally have some time for myself.
Nice.
Well, thanks for donating a little bit of that time to us.
Thanks for having me, really.
It's nothing for us because we have been absolutely obsessed with your game since it came out. Congratulations on having what it has to be one of, if not the top selling game in the world right now. Streets of Rage 4 art director. How do you say your name, Ben?
Ben Fiquet.
Ben Fiquet?
Yeah, usually American people say Fiquet, which is quite funny, but no, this is Fiquet, like yeah, Fiquet.
Fiquet. Yeah.
So yeah, the game is selling well. Yeah. We've been, I've been told like today we are first on Nintendo Switch in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Which is quite a feat, really, because the US is a big market, and to be on top is for download only, because Animal Crossing is still keeping the top position for game you can buy at retail.
Yeah, I know. I've already
Animal
bought
Crossing
it.
is a big beast to try to beat.
Yeah. I don't think that's possible, really, because a lot of people, I think, bought Animal Crossing, but that's nice, at least to be second.
Yeah, I've already bought it on multiple platforms, and pretty much you can
So
look at the
that's
stream and
because
just.
of you, then.
What's that?
That's because of you that we are on top.
No, haven't bought it on the Switch yet.
Chris.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm going for the other platforms. We can get a clean sweep for you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm actually a little sleepy because I tried to beat the game last night. I ended up beating it finally last night, but it took a while. I had to get through it all.
Well, which difficulty?
Unfortunately, normal.
Yeah.
I'll get there. Yeah, it was Floyd.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but
Floyd
I understand, because I suck at this game. I see a lot
It's your own game.
Yeah, it's very difficult. I'm not like a gamer per se, but it's very difficult for me. I usually play normal. I can beat the game in normal, but usually the hardest difficulty I'm stuck. I can't.
Yeah, I beat normal a couple times with my friends, but I've been streaming it, so we've moved on to hard, and we're still getting thumped by hard. So, but you're part of the. How did you get into art on a video game project?
What do you mean? How did I start?
What's your background in art? I'm guessing before video games.
Well, I've been trained in fine arts in France. I did also an animation school called Gobelin, which is a very quite famous animation school, but mostly focused on like feature films or TV series. And actually, after that, I started in video games in a company called Make and Sleep, which is where I met Omar, my associate at Lizard Cube, and we made together a game called Salt Bubbles, which was a Nintendo DS game where you blow a bubble and everything is physics based, like Loco Roco at the time. It was quite a challenge because the Nintendo DS was very limited hardware. And after that, I went to London to work in animation. I did a lot of freelance for about 2 years there. And I came back to Paris and I did several comic books because French comic book market is something that you can get into quickly.
I had no idea.
Yeah, the French comics is quite big. It used to be quite big. It's slowly going down the gutter, but the French comic book market is the third one, I think, in the world. And it's not very well known outside of France because this is very peculiar. Maybe you heard of Tintin, Asterix, maybe?
Yeah, I've heard of Tintin, yes.
Yeah, this is like the biggest names that came from French comics, but there is a lot.
I literally have a Tintin poster right next to me.
Yeah. That's it's actually
I'm taking
Belgian,
a picture
but,
right now.
Actually, we still have your screen on if you want to show it.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna take a picture and then post it on there.
But I've Been Rude. We are Free Play Arcade. We're a chain of arcades in the Dallas, Texas area. Richardson, Arlington, Fort Worth, and Denton to be specific. We've gotten shut down because of COVID-19, so that forced us online.
Yeah.
And we have a very strong community. So it's just sort of pushed over into this forum. We've been playing arcade games and stuff online as we can.
So do you have like arcades full of old games, or
yes, all retro arcades. Yeah, and the way it would work is you pay a flat fee to come in. There's a bar in an arcade, but they, unlike most that you may have encountered like this, it was an emphasis on the arcade part. So bar and arcade, you pay a flat fee and you can come and play all the games. And it's introduced a ton of extra people to classic arcade games.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yes.
Because arcade used to be the place to have the best game around.
Yes.
I loved it when I was a kid. I usually skipped music lessons to go to the arcade, playing King of Fighter 94 and Samurai Showdown 2, I think. And this is about the time when like Tekken arrived on the market, and I was not interested in the 3D games at all.
Right.
I was definitely a pixel lover somehow.
Yeah, no, I mean it shows in obviously in Streets of Rage 4. Like it's a massive throwback, and I feel like it has an arcade feel. Like Animal Crossing has come out, and what's the other big game? There's another big game that came out that took everybody by storm. during this
Yeah.
time. But for me, I didn't bite it all, and then Streets of Rage 4 came out, and holy cow, it's one of the most arcade true games I've seen in a long time, even though it is not technically an arcade game.
Yeah, thanks. So you have to thank the game designer Jordi and Guard Crush Game for their expertise in beat 'em up, because they've been like playing and making beat 'em up since a very long time. So all the arcade feel you can have in Street of Rage 4 is majorly thanks to them.
Yeah, I think there's definitely enough praise to go around. I can't think of an element of this game that is not just fantastic, art included.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Yeah, it's this.
You can tell you're like a.
Go ahead.
You can tell like you're like an actual big arcade fan, because like the last one of your last blog posts had the 6 characters to make fan art of.
Yeah.
And they're all pretty much like Golden Axe,
Yeah.
Darkstalkers,
Yeah.
the old school D&D from Capcom. I'm so glad that you drew Akira from Rival Schools, because she was the best girl, for sure.
I'm not very familiar with Rival School. I love the art that I've seen of the game, but I didn't own PlayStation or Dreamcast. The second one was on Dreamcast.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. There is an appeal to these characters. It's just they look cool. Really.
Yeah. Art design. It's kind of one of the things that got me in to pick up Streets of Rage. Like, I didn't have a Genesis. I was a Super Nintendo kid when I was growing up. I'm sorry. we couldn't live that 2-console life. But the art style for this definitely was something that made me want to pick it up for sure. So.
And for me, I was a Sega Genesis kid. In fact, I loved Streets of Rage. Absolutely adored it. The second one in particular, I remember driving across the continent here, listening to the Streets of Rage 2 soundtrack in my car over and over again during the 2000s, traveling to different fighting game tournaments.
Oh my!
Yeah, massive fan, and I can tell you that like when the first trailer hit for Streets of Rage 4, I was.
You were not convinced. You were definitely not convinced.
Correct. Yeah. Well, I was not convinced, but like it wasn't on the art. It was like you get this sometimes, and it's like you see amazing art, and then you get disappointed by the gameplay. And I know the gameplay was so magical for Streets of Rage 2 that like, and honestly, the quality of the art, and we can see it on our screen now, is so good.
Thanks. I think a lot of people realized the quality of the art or the gameplay during the 1.5 year period of marketing, because I think the announcement was such a big hit in the face of every fan on the planet that you can't jump right into it at the beginning of the announcement. So I think we had some time to convince people over time.
Yeah.
And see what at the end people actually the game looks better when you play it than when you just watch some cut out video of gameplay.
Well, I think it's for me the promise of your art here, because it's fantastic. Hand drawn, is that right?
Yeah, everything's hand drawn.
It's unbelievable. It looks so good and so true to the feel that like it's promising a lot. And so that was my skepticism initially, was just like, this art looks too good. I'm gonna be disappointed when I play the game, and then not at all.
Yeah, because usually when you have like a game from an animator, sometimes there is too much emphasis on like the jump, for example, takes too long to initiate, and you are kind of disappointed in the gameplay because there is too much focus on the animation. But it was like a partnership with Guard Crush, like I said, and so we refined the gameplay to be complementary of the animation. So it's not like you're disappointed by the gameplay because there's too much focus.
No, not at
I
all.
hope so.
Yeah, and as like a super fan who's listening to the soundtrack over and over across the country for a decade, you know, the greatest compliment I could give the entire collaboration and the team is that like you did reverence to the old games. The old characters are in there. The old art style is in there. Everything is there in an old way, and yet I've been playing through and I have not switched to the old characters. I've been enjoying the new game as it is presented, which is
Thanks.
an impossible task. I don't know how you pull it off. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Yeah, this is a dream come true. You know, I've been when I was a kid, I was a massive fan of Streets of Rage 2, and we played a lot with my brother. And now, you know, the massive task that was ahead of us, we managed to make it possible and to have people really enjoy it. So it's really a dream come true.
Were you a fan of the original series? Did you play it?
Yeah, of course. I was a Mega Drive hardcore gamer. Mega Drive, so Genesis for
Yeah.
US gamers.
Was it Bare Knuckle for you or Streets of Rage?
Streets of Rage.
Gotcha.
Bare Knuckle is only for Japan and Korea, I think, and Southeast Asia. I'm not sure, but no, this is mainly known as Streets of Rage on Mega Drive for the world.
Oh,
Yeah, go please.
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
ask. Yeah, I was gonna say, did you ever play Comic Zone? Because
No, I never did actually. Even in emulation, a lot of people, and I knew about the game because I've seen the gameplay and I've seen the screenshots, but I never played the game. And people are actually right because this is something that is right in the same kind of style of Streets of Rage 4.
yeah, it's like you guys should do if there's a Comic Zone thing. It feels like you guys should totally
Well,
be in on that.
Yeah, the thing is, since I never played the game, I don't have any appeal for it. Like,
Yeah.
I like to focus on games that are important to me. So
Yeah.
if I was to do Comic Zone, it would be just only because fans will be asking about it, and even then, I think this is not very well known outside of hardcore Genesis fans around.
Yeah. It's definitely very, very 90s looking. But that was
Yeah.
like the first thing that I had in my head after playing the game. It's like, oh man, this seems like something that would work well in this kind of art style.
Yeah, this is funny because the character is quite odd. You know, this is like a blonde guy with a ponytail and
Yes.
glasses. I think this is kind of a nerd fantasy.
Yeah.
It does look like that. I don't know, but it does look like that.
It screams 90s
Yeah.
kind of grunge. The guy
Yeah.
who would go to a comic book shop and yeah. So going back to your stuff for Streets of Rage 4, we had some questions actually. I wanted to ask. I remember one of our regulars, Cloud, was asking about how you came up with the character for Cherry Hunter.
The cherry was so. First thing is, do we want to have Skate back since the story was
Yes.
set? Since the story was set 10 years from the Street of Rage 3, couldn't picture Skate coming back as a grown-up with still
Skates.
skates on his feet. That would have been very cringy. So I thought it. So we needed a fast character, like a small and fast character, and we wanted to have a character aerial, something that go into the air. and so basically I try to connect it to the Antwerp family because this is quite a very important family for the franchise, and I came up with a daughter of Adam, and I try to have her very cool looking, and I love when characters are fighting with guitars. So it was kind of a rough process, but I ended up with her, and I really liked her. But there was some pushback about the guitar in the team because some developer didn't find it cool, and I was pretty adamant I wanted the guitar to stay.
Man, that seems. Well, the proof is in the pudding whenever you play it. Of course, it always is going to be. I don't know, on a design level, like you're the artist. I always want to let the artist run with it and see what it's going to actually turn out like in the end. Did you man?
That makes just you, Chris, because it's usually the other way around.
Well,
people telling the artist what to do and
I believe
how
you.
to make
Ian is a
something.
working artist, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
I'm a super
Graphic
fan.
designer.
Graphic design.
Yeah, graphic designer.
Yeah, he's downplaying himself. It's cool. But like the. Have you seen Streets of Fire?
Streets of Fire.
Yes.
It's the game.
It is a movie, Streets of Fire. I would say. Doesn't ring a bell? Oh.
It does. No, it doesn't.
Okay, it's interesting because so Streets of Fire, it's a movie from the 80s. Clearly, Streets of Rage is very directly inspired by it. Like I would say very directly. So and also Final Fight. The plot is a man named Cody gets his girlfriend kidnapped, and his girlfriend looks a lot like Blaze. Gets kidnapped by a rival biker gang, and he has to go beat up everybody in the streets until he retrieves his girlfriend. And she gets kidnapped on stage in a rock concert. Like, I can't tell you how on point having a guitar in a game that's in the lineage of Streets of Fire is. It's a rock opera.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's a totally 80, 90 mood.
Yeah.
This is quite a fine storyline, like you pitching me.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, it's ridiculous, and it's definitely, if you just made Streets of Rage 4, if you're interested in seeing the lineage, I recommend Streets of Fire. Willem Dafoe, and it's a great 80s movie. Obviously, very very influential.
Okay.
You'll see it very quickly. Like, clearly,
Okay,
Blaze
okay.
is just the character who gets kidnapped.
Yeah, okay.
What about Floyd when you were designing him? It seems very very Jaxy. So how much did you?
Well, the thing is, so a lot of people jumped on the resemblance with Jax, but I'm not very familiar with Mortal Kombat. So basically, Floyd was here for gameplay needs. We wanted a grappler, but a long-range grappler.
Mhm.
Something a grappler that could do other moves than Max, because Max was
Yeah, his character model resembles Max the most because he's a big dude,
very close.
lumbering.
Yeah, it's very close. And we wanted to have a character so big and long range as well.
Mhm.
So hence the arms, and so after and also we wanted to connect it to Dr. Zan, because Dr. Zan is Zan, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because Zan is also part of the history of Streets of Rage, and so I think it made sense when I designed it, and now when so many people pointed out the resemblance with Jax, I could see that yeah, this is definitely This is definitely very close, but this was not directly inspired by.
It's interesting. I think is audio done by Lizard Cube as well?
No, the audio was. You mean the sound effects? Or
Yes,
the-
sound effects, not the music.
Now the sound effects were made by Swan Ménage, which is a very talented guy who did all the sound effects, and he's a freelancer sound effects guy.
Gotcha. Yeah. No. Yeah. I said it. Yeah. He or she very much leaned into it, and actually has Floyd saying Jax's trademark phrase. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah. So, yeah, sorry. What can I say? Yeah, it's close, but it's definitely not.
Oh yeah. No.
Directly. Sorry.
I don't.
No, we're
Please don't
good.
take offense either, because like
That's all right.
Streets of Rage is clearly built on Streets of Fire. We play Street Fighter 2 from the 90s. We're
Yeah,
classic arcade, right? So we're inspired by
Yeah.
old games.
Yeah.
Street Fighter 2 like borrows so heavily from old movies and old sources, and I feel like that's just an inevitable part of art. Like you guys build upon what is before. Like you speak a language that we don't speak. Me, the non-artist, right? Where you guys are.
Maybe. Yeah, there's always something like in the air that artists are grabbing all together. Like this is why you have like similar movies coming in the same time about like I don't know sci-fi setup that you haven't seen for 10 years, and now you have like 3 movies. There is something in the air. Like it's not like people are copying themselves. It's just something that there's like something that you grab, that you feel that
Yeah,
you,
kind of our society inspires like the art of its
Yeah.
era.
yeah.
Tell me about the redesign on Adam. What were you thinking there?
Well, I don't know if you've seen the blog post I did on the PlayStation blog,
I have not.
which
I can pull it up right now.
yeah, PlayStation blog, Streets of Rage character design or something.
I'll look it up. Oh, there you go.
So yeah, basically Adam, I wanted to stay as close as possible to the original sprite. There's not much reference for Adam because he has not been seen much.
Streets of Rage 1, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have some cutscenes in 2 and 3, but part of that you don't have much. So I wanted to keep the yellow shirt, of course, but I couldn't picture the shoulder pads making a comeback because this is not the 80s anymore, and I don't think that would have been very good looking on him. So that's why I try to keep it simple but kind of new at the same time, modern.
Yeah. No, the suspenders are a nice touch. I want to cosplay them, but I don't think I can make my arms that big. I can't wait to the first time I see an Adam Streets of Rage 4 cosplayer. I'm gonna nerd out crazy.
That's funny because when we were showing the game to an event, I think that was in London. We at the time we haven't announced Adam yet, and I saw a guy in the crowd. He was just like Adam, like a big, tall, muscular black guy. I took a picture of him, and I don't know if you are listening and you are a black guy from London that attended, I thought it was funny.
Was
Is that something you?
Was he a cosplayer?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't cosplaying at all. He was just like a good-looking, muscular guy.
Gotcha.
He had a yellow shirt, maybe.
Yeah, he had a yellow shirt. Sorry.
Nice. So he was cosplaying on the down low. Stealth cosplay is what we call it. Where you dress up normal, but you kind of look like somebody.
No, I think I don't think he was cosplaying much. I'm not sure.
Yeah, coincidence. It's crazy.
Are you excited for that? That some people might be cosplaying things that you've created?
Yeah. I don't know because
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
some
me if
people-
nothing else.
Yeah, some people already did. Like I've seen a few Blaze cosplayers, and
My Blaze is gonna disappoint you.
I'm not sure, but no. I'm really.
Yeah, there's
enjoying
already
the-
some new blazes.
I'm really enjoying the fact that people are cosplaying the characters, but sometimes people go too far, and it does scare me a bit. Like for example, Wonder Boy, the previous game we made at Lizard Cube, we had a lot of fan art, like Fury's fan art. Very well drawn, very sexual. I mean, I'm glad people are enjoying the game and the characters, but I don't know. I don't know. Fury's porn is a bit much for me.
If it's on the internet, it's gonna unfortunately, depending on how popular it is. So this is why I'm not scrolling any further down on the cosplay. I already saw something. I'm just gonna keep it up here.
Thanks for that, Ian.
Nice and safe-ish. Yeah, we're good.
I have a question from
Yeah.
Twitter. What's your favorite Sega franchise outside of Streets of Rage, Wonder Boy, or anything you may or may not already be working on?
Favorite Sega franchise?
Anything you'd like to remaster or reboot in the future, perhaps?
Well, I loved Landstalker. This was, you remember Landstalker?
Yes.
It was an adventure game, isometric view, and it was very nice, kind of a Zelda but for Genesis. And Shining Force as well. Shining
That
Force.
cover art for Landstalker,
Yeah.
it's begging for you to redo it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, covers from the 90s. What can you say?
Oh man.
And yeah, Shining Force and Stalker, Golden Axe as well. There's a lot of like very interesting licensed games that came from Sega at the time. I don't know. I just maybe I'm biased because I love Sega as a kid, but I think there's a lot of potentials that didn't go very far.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
was
Ian.
gonna ask you, do you have any kind of like arcades that you'd like? That's like your favorite arcade game. And then I have a secondary question afterwards.
Yeah, arcade. So I would say Street Fighter 3, Garou, Mark of the Wolf,
Where are you
yeah.
at, Arthur?
and Capcom vs SNK 2. But all the games I'm talking about are basically the most well animated games you can
Correct.
find.
Oh yeah.
So maybe that's because of my background, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if you say
what was
Metal
that-
Slug, you got the all of them covered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there is a lot more. Like I can say Darkstalker, Samurai Showdown.
You're talking our
King of
language
Zen-
now. All of these games are
Yeah.
at free play.
King
Fighting
of Fighter
Vipers?
Is,
No,
no,
what was that game, Chris? The weird fighting game that's not made by not any company that makes fighting games, but it's very well animated.
I'm not.
It was in a cab. There's like a lady who's like a snake lady.
I can't. Skullgirls? That's what the
No. Skullgirls is also very good, but no, it was a fighting game that was like made by a company that was not Capcom or SNK. And we've had it on the free play floors.
I believe
before.
you. I just it's not ringing a bell at the moment. Not Fighting Vipers because you're thinking of that's the 3D game.
Sega. Yeah, I forget what it was.
Oh,
called,
it's
but that one
it's
had
the Chinese knockoff game. Yeah. It's called Martial Masters.
Martial
Oh, yeah,
Masters.
I think I heard about this one.
Yeah, it was
yeah.
China put out a version, their own riff on the Neo Geo system.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
And it's mostly like, what would the word be? It's kind of it does feel like a ripoff in many ways. Like they clearly just copied like the Neo Geo architecture, I guess.
Yeah.
But then whoever their art guy was just blew it out of the park. Like it's the pixel art is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I see a lot of resemblance with Street Fighter Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Doesn't look good here, but in person, I know it was very smooth looking. The pixel art was, and the animation itself was very cool looking. It was like a mix of like Alpha and maybe like the SNK games.
Yeah, it does look cool, but I've read about this game and platform, and I think they didn't have anything much except of this game.
Yeah, it's just sort of this is definitely our thing to get smashed on old games and rare games. We just keep finding more old lost treasures and tossing them on the arcade floor.
Yeah.
What's your more questions from the chat? What's your general process for character design on a project like this?
Well, what's the general process? I go for it. It's mainly a matter of readability, like the rhythm of the shapes, the contrast of the colors. It's a drawing process, really. But in terms of video game, you have to understand that everything needs, you need to see the silhouette of the characters. Like you need to see the arm, even if the pose is quite awkward in real life. You need to be able to see the fist, because this is like an important part of the gameplay. So yeah, so it's a mix of thinking about animation, and thinking about the rhythm of the character. I can't really point specifically how I do it. It's just a matter of training, I think.
It's a design thing where you're solving the problem of quick readability, like you're saying, by having like silhouettes of characters, even like the contrast. Like I'm seeing you on these sketches of Adam and stuff. I bet you right away you were thinking I need a different color for like the bottom part of his pants so that you can see if he's kicking, the yellow is going to stand out and this part of his foot is going to be seen easier.
Yeah, and also like I have, since I animate the characters, I know that if I add some like the shirt of Adam on his waist, I knew that it will make a nice motion when he will be fighting. And sometimes I know that adding some stuff that will overlap is better for animation ultimately.
It gives depth to things that are 2D essentially. I was about to say, like, it looks like there's also a lot of just like design too, like looking back into history, especially for something like this. Like I love looking at all your, pixelated blazes, and then how you're picking and pulling from different parts, seeing what to keep. Like I see her here with like a brown jacket at first, but then you kind of went against that. I'm assuming because like she didn't have any other brown pieces of clothing. It was like red and black. So keep a red, black, and yellow.
Also, the black is like a very nice contrast on her.
Yes.
It was, and the leather jacket gives her kind of a badass look.
Yeah. Even I like how the shoes change too. Like you go straight to just like red boots again, probably to make things like click faster or visually grab something quicker. You have a visual hierarchy in this that you have to deal with, like animation, and it's like a whole other I guess dimension thing that you have to think about. You have to think of it in movement as opposed to just it being still.
I'm sorry, I'm seeing some people going back to the Fury thing, and Wonder Girl Route 34. No, it was not Wonder Girl, it was the Lizard and the bosses, dragon bosses. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Oh man.
Let's see. So you're riffing on classic characters in the game. In the classic Streets of Rage games, but there are some new characters that you've been able to make more than just the main ones. But I'm thinking in particular of is it the level 1 boss Diva that has the snake? Is that it?
Yeah, yeah.
How much freedom did you have there to just sort of go on your own, and how did you come up with that design?
Well, I think I just roughed it out randomly, and at some point I thought that was a cool design, and I had, since I'm doing all the art, and I'm the art director, and I didn't have any really pushback per se. Even Sega, we were sending stuff to Sega, but they were really enthusiastic every time, so I didn't have any real pushback. So I kind of tried to design on my own and try to be respectful at the same time, which is a bit of a lonely path sometimes. But yeah, no, that was mostly, you know, some enemies didn't make it because it was not very relevant to the game. But mostly when I was pretty convinced with the design, I would say that it will be going into the game, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that she stands out to me as like the most, like, I've seen nothing like this. I mean, I don't know, Britney Spears dancing in the VMAs, something like that with the snake. That's about it. Like it's pretty unique and amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Another character
Was there
that
any,
really
like,
pops. Go ahead.
So was there any like references or anything that you used? Was there somebody that you kind of based her off of? I'm getting Riri vibes, kind of.
Yeah, I think at some point while I roughed her out, I think I think I look at Rihanna. Different
There you go.
looks. And you can see that later in the game you have two divas, and their names are Rhea and Bio.
Ah,
Nice.
That's awesome.
Clearly a reference to these two queens, basically.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah, so Rihanna, but I think the short hair of Rihanna was kind of a short period in a style, but no, I think I definitely looked at her, at least the outfit she wore.
Yes.
It's funny how you get that like right away, and then I didn't even think of like the name Riri. I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense now. That's awesome.
Yeah, similar. You have your police characters. Estelle, is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any inspiration? Any direct inspiration there?
Estelle is different because she's actually a real cop I encountered.
Interesting.
In my building. Yeah. It was in 2017. And I was coming back to my building, and there were three cops. They didn't have the code for entering the building, so I approached them and I say, "Do you need some help? Do you need the code?" And they say, "Yeah, we need the code." And I say, "What are you here for?" And so the girl was facing me. She's basically Estelle, as I designed her, and she said, "Yeah, there is a guy." How did she say that? She said, "I'm gonna punch him or something." And she was smiling because it was kind of a noise complaint about a crazy guy in the building, and you knew she was in charge. There were two guys with her, and the guys were. They were fit, like they were very muscular, but I knew that she was a captain, something.
Gotcha. Wow, that's really cool. I hope Estelle sees her counterpart.
I need to find her. Maybe I need to contact the precinct of the city I was living in.
I can't imagine being anything other than flattered. One of my hypest moments in Streets of Rage is just busting into the commissioner's office. Anything actually inspiring that? I mean, it's amazing.
What? So
There's just the commissioner's character model. I mean, I feel like you managed to bring every little bit of like kind of genre police commissioner everything into one form, and I don't know how you pulled that off, but I'm amazed.
Yeah, thanks. But I think the commissioner is just the most basic design I could come up with. I knew I wanted to have the game happen in a prison and a precinct, but I think I designed him quite late because I didn't really knew what to do with him. But at some point, I didn't really need to do much because a commissioner is a commissioner. And,
Right.
And so I ended up with him.
There's just this moment when he's behind a desk and he stands up, and it's just.
Yeah.
Of course, this is the commissioner of Streets of Rage. Of course it is, and now he's coming down at me. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ian?
I'm personally a big fan of Freddie Mercury, the karate guy.
Oh yeah, he's I forget what.
No. Fred Barbon, you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
Barbon is actually a boss from Streets of Rage 2.
Correct.
And this is literally a copy paste of the original design. So I don't have any responsibility, but yeah, it does look like Freddie Mercury, and this is very leather and mustache.
Yeah.
I think it's the jacket that he takes off. It's like,
Yeah.
there's the Freddie Mercury leather jacket.
Is there anything left on the table? I mean, you can't talk about DLC. Is there any?
Yeah,
Do you
well,
wanna
on
read?
Twitter?
What's that?
Of course, I can't talk about the future for Street of Rage, but just we're thinking about having some DLC, but we're not sure how to do it well, because we've been quite generous with Street of Rage 4. You have like 17 characters to choose from. You have a long adventure. We want to have something relevant to the players.
Right.
So we want to do this right.
Yeah, you've set a high bar, an incredibly high bar.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm glad the game is received so well. Oh,
I'm already replaying it too.
Actually, if you want a bit of trivia, my screen is frozen when you add Photoshop open on the Street of Rage 4 poster. And you see in the background of the poster there is like a sound wave. And that sound wave is actually the sound wave of Go Straight from Yuzo Koshiro.
Oh wow!
Nice.
So I think I never said it on the internet, but you're the first to know.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
I can
That
play
was
that.
just a wink to the composer, and I kept it. This is Audacity. I just screenshot my Audacity and Go Straight track.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I'll play
I love
that one
small
right now.
stuff like that, where like if anyone else, because somebody on the internet's gonna look it up or something, they're gonna find tiny bits of like Easter eggs and like look it up themselves. But if anyone's watching this, you got it before anyone else has said it. So that's amazing. Which is funny because this is you're on VGM Wednesday, which is a show about specifically music and video games.
Art,
This
music, and
week's
video
theme
games. Yeah.
being this week's theme being art or artistic video games, and that's so cool that we ended back on music in an art piece about a video game. That's still awesome.
So Shannon says she's still on stage 9. Stage 9 is very difficult. I can't blame you still being on stage 9.
Which one's stage 9? Is that after the airplane crash?
This is ending with this is sauna and the elevator, and ending up with Max.
Ah.
Yes, I still haven't figured out the boss fight with Max yet.
White over, yeah.
Yeah.
I just ended up backfisting him the entire time. I'd let him walk behind me.
Oh, you went double dragon style then.
Yeah. Max is ironically the easiest part.
Really? Not for me.
Not
Not for me.
The hardest boss I've had was definitely the DJ throwing stuff on the floor. I couldn't dash. I was Floyd, so I had to try to short hop everything.
So Shannon, when you get to the boss, when you get to Max, there's a crowd around the arena, and actually there's a lot of people from the development team into the crowd.
Oh.
And you also have Koshiro and Kawashima, the two original composers. You have also Childish Gambino.
What?
Because
Excellent.
I think it was Childish Gambino sampled Koshiro's music, and I think it was an homage to Street of Rage, as well as you have Dear Antwoord, the rap South African duo. I don't know if you knew this guy. But they are in the crowd as well, because they've been sampling Koshiro as well.
That's amazing.
So there's a lot of small Easter eggs hidden everywhere. Like Julian, who did the backgrounds. Julian has been working with me from the beginning, and he did all the backgrounds.
Oh, there's Gambino. I see him. He's in the
there he
back
is.
right.
Yeah.
Next to the two ladies who have drunk too much, maybe?
Yeah.
Are the people on the right the development team?
I don't know if you're showing that on stream, because I shut down the stream. It was too much for my connection.
Oh yeah, it's on the stream right now. So I'm looking at the boss fight, and on the right side of the stage.
Yeah, so on the just next to the pillar is Gap Crush Games. Cyril, Beausoleil, and Jordi. If you go to the left of the arena,
Let's see if this gameplay gets us to the left.
so next to the big black guys in the backgrounds is Dotemu team. You have the marketing Dotemu. Oh, you have Koshiro and Kawashima behind that pixel guy.
Oh, here we go.
dancing.
There's the left
On
side.
the left. Oh, I see the Lizard Cube logo on that shirt right there.
Yeah, that's Julian who did the backgrounds. And my
Nice.
family is at the bottom. I'm
Bottom left.
bottom left, yeah. So if you go to the bottom, you're gonna see me, my daughter on the shoulders, and my wife and son, bottom left.
I'm not playing, unfortunately. This is just a video of somebody
Okay.
playing. They're very afraid of Max right now.
As they should
away.
be. He's got so much armor on his attacks. What
Actually,
about? Oh, go
we
ahead.
didn't talk about it. The brother sister team.
Yeah, the Y twins.
Yeah. Any inspiration from anybody?
Yeah, somebody asked me. I replied, "Rich kid" on Instagram.
Perfect.
I wanted
None of them were.
I wanted them to be as shitty as possible, you know, entitled little fox inheriting the wealth of their father. So I think maybe you, it might be based on the Trump.
Oh yeah, I can see it
Trump-
for sure. The kids.
Trump family or
Yeah.
something. They're better
Perfect.
looking, but
Oh man, yeah. None of them look like ghosts or
yeah,
like their soul is still inside of them or something.
yeah, I don't know.
Is that shades of
It-
GLaDOS in the background too?
Shades of what?
GLaDOS from Portal.
Oh, from Portal.
Ah no,
the-
no. This is actually the sound system used to control Max.
Oh,
Oh yes,
yeah.
yes.
Ow. Oh man, the twins need to be doing more selfies. I think if that's the case for Instagram
yes.
rich people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
DLC
It's-
selfies.
There's a wrestler in I think it's AEW. His whole shtick is that he is like a vlogger and one of those annoying people who like vlogs and does all that stuff, and it works because he's the bad guy. He's like a heel, and he does that like I guess IRL too. He'll do selfies and stuff in the ring and like stream while he's in the ring. It's hilarious, and it's like such a something that you root against. So yeah, it makes a perfect heel. So spot on.
Let's see. Questions from the chat. They're obsessed with Cherry's guitar.
Oh yeah, so Cherry's guitar is kind of a mix of influence. The thing is, it needed to be symmetrical because when you have like a Les Paul, for example, and you have your character facing left or right, you're gonna have a left-handed guitar or right-handed guitar, so it needed to be symmetrical. And this is kind of a double cut Gibson
Casino-esque.
yeah, I can't say exactly because it's not exactly a Gibson model. I wanted to have something very particular for her, but yeah, this is actually I found a guitar pretty similar online. I bought it. I'm gonna try to have it repainted the guitar is yellow, but I'm gonna paint the black stripes on it.
Oh, nice.
On the bottom. Yeah. Yeah, this is very important for those of us who are probably going to cosplay Cherry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Ah,
gonna
yeah,
have to
okay.
buy
Ah, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Telling you, I'm
sure.
gonna lose my mind
So,
the first time I see a spot
2
on Cherry.
humbuckers, everybody.
Yeah.
One black stripe is what it looks like.
two black stripes going to
Ooh.
the volume and
And tone knob.
tone, yeah.
Switch on the
so-
top though. I don't know what that does.
Yeah, switch on the top because I don't like to have a switch on the bottom.
Ah.
This is only for me because I wanted to have a merchandising from Gibson or something. And
Yeah,
I
that's true.
wanted to be able to enjoy proper guitar.
Cherry might end up being one of the most cosplayed characters ever because there's just not that many
I hope
black
so.
female characters to cosplay. I know I've heard other cosplayers complain about this. It's like they just don't. They can't. You got people like who's the UFC fighter who does Street Fighter 2 characters?
Oh, she did Sagat, right?
Yeah, she's
She in a way and did like the Sagat win pose.
yes, and she's done Dhalsim as well. Angela Hill is who I'm referring to.
She came to Dallas one time. She toured Funimation. I remember that.
Well, I cold Twitter messaged Ben to see if he would join us. I definitely have cold messaged Angela Hill to see if she would join us as well. But yeah, there aren't enough characters, African characters of African descent in general, but especially women. So I cannot wait to see the first like spot on Cherry Hunter. Oh, that's the end of Go Straight.
I think I had a reference at some point that was a girl on Twitter,
Mhm.
and she had kind of a similar haircut with dyed hair, but not pink. I think it was white. I'm gonna try to find her again and say that she's an inspiration to Cherry.
It's awesome.
Well, I don't have any more questions. Do you have anything, Ian?
The back of my mind, no. Besides technical stuff, like
Yeah,
where can
but
I
go
where can I steal your halftone patterns that you put on things?
It's actually the basic Photoshop halftone.
Okay.
So you,
I-
if you want to do it right now, you make a 50% gray, and
Mm.
you fill your layer with that.
Okay, and then you just do it in Photoshop.
And you do it in Photoshop, and basically this is just in overlay mode, and I reduced it to 25% or something.
Because that's. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. It's not rocket science, really. It's just
Yeah.
basic.
How it's used is great. I was talking about it on the stream also. It's like not overtly visible, but I like the textures and everything. It really helps. There's like I guess that halftone pattern, and I think
Yeah.
there's a little bit
There's
of
There's a paper texture as well.
there
Yeah,
you go.
there's paper texture. Yeah, and because I think the texture, and I used it in Wonder Boy as well. The texture are, mixing the wall of the image, like the background and the characters feel more connected when you have a texture that connects them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the stuff that we I guess. So for VGM Wednesday we talk about music specifically, but we end up photoshopping and like adding specifically Chris's face to stuff lately.
Okay.
In just the different ways, and it's just us like removing the logo and making it like say VGM Wednesday or whatever. But we go on talking about some of the techniques and stuff used as well. So that's neat. That's the thing that I've noticed most about this is like I want to draw something and make it look watercolory with like halftone pattern shadows and everything. Yeah.
I think this is also like the art style feels quite new to people because this is not an art style very used into video games. But this is more of a French comic book look, I think, and I'm glad I'm able to that it's received very well for games this big, because this is something I like visually.
It's a cool new influence. So you're talking about Tintin. This is my Tintin poster that I have right standing next to me, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that, but
yeah.
There is, speaking of French, there is because I know you noted manga and anime as like a influence as well. There's a French animated movie that was very like well received and like popular. I remember the scene specifically. I remember is like this small like woodland creature like swinging around nunchucks that were gigantic.
What? Nunchucks?
Yeah, I don't know if it was French or not though. I think if I look up French anime, that might be the first thing that pops up.
What kind of style?
Oh, actually, that's a big one too. The Ladybug.
Oh, Ladybug. Yeah, of
yeah.
course. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Ladybug because my wife is actually the producer of the show.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I know that's like a huge thing. Like I used to work at Funimation, and
Yeah.
I know my coworker who's like a big fan, like multiple coworkers that were big fans of that show.
Yeah,
French
yeah.
anime.
This is a very big. This is a very big thing at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, they went to Japan and I think they found products there of it. So
Yeah,
they went
you
all in
are-
on that.
you have toys and merchandise of Ladybug everywhere in the world. It's crazy.
Is that a big thing for you too? Like if you, it's something that you're kind of mimicking something Japanese, and then for it to go back to Japan as a thing, because I know that was like huge for like the team of Ruby. I don't know if you've ever seen or watched Ruby back in the day.
No, but you mean have like the
Toys and
yeah, the Japanese noticing me? You mean?
yes.
Yeah, well, it could have been a few years back, but now I've been working with Japanese people, and I went to Japan many times, and I don't know, it's such a different culture. They are going very fast into the latest hype, the latest. I don't know. I'm glad if Japanese people like the game, and but I'm not like wishing it as a fanboy of Japan, you know.
Mm.
Because even if I love anime and manga, I think we need to find a proper proper writing, if I can say, you know, when it's not. I just want just to copy stuff from
International
Japan.
diversity of the
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to have, you know, to make games with a French mood. Like, I don't know, you.
We're gonna play Brothers after this, which are you
This
familiar
is-
with that game?
No, what game? Sorry.
Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
This is not a French game.
not a French game. Let's see here.
So,
I like international feeling games. The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
So definitely like adding different like cultures, especially European cultures, because we get American games here in America, and
Yeah.
there are plenty of Japanese obsessed Americans here. But yeah, having new styles.
Yeah, because sometimes, you know, just to have my own view of the world put into a game, because even I like all good games, American, Japanese, or everywhere in the world, but sometimes, you know, the American point of view is a bit too much. And I'd like, I don't know the characters to go to a bakery and enjoy a cigarette at a cafe. I don't know, but yeah, I'd like that.
Yeah, no, I totally. I mean, even in America here, like we see representations of New York and Los Angeles. We're in Dallas, Texas, which is big enough to hold like an incredible arcade.
Yeah.
So like our representation in media is basically the show
Cowboys.
Dallas. Well, the Dallas
Yeah.
Cowboys and the show Dallas from the 70s. Which
Yeah.
was not accurate to the 70s, but certainly like when's the last time you saw someone riding a horse, Ian? I can't.
Yeah, I
Fort
think
Worth.
I think one of the best show I saw about America was Friday Night Lights.
hmm
Uh,
Yeah,
do
that's
you
a little
remember
bit more
that?
accurate. There are a lot of people
Yeah.
obsessed with high school football here.
Yeah, and this is quite an eye opener
Mhm.
because I didn't knew it was so big for the community. It was very nice show, very nice.
If I don't know if this is a bad thing, but I always felt King of the Hill felt way more
You're right. Yeah.
what this area is like, because like I had cousins when I first moved here to Dallas. They're like, what is it like in Texas? I'm like, you know what, it's kind of like King of the Hill.
Yes, that's accurate to
So-
this part. Like we're in the city here, and then if you get outside of here, then it's more Friday Night Lights. Because I lived in both, so
Yeah, okay.
you get your Texas fill there.
Yeah, hopefully it's not Deliverance.
Yeah,
No.
no, that's more accurate to like Georgia and my time in Louisiana.
Georgia,
Okay.
I was gonna say Louisiana. But I don't know if you're watching, but this video that I've been playing in the background, that's the thing that I think of when I think of like French animation.
Ah, Wakfu, yeah, Wakfu. This
Yeah.
is, It's actually a game at the beginning, 2D MMORPG, and it was very successful. So they made a TV series and they made a movie as well. A lot of friends of mine worked at that company. Yeah, one of the cool success of France.
This, and then I don't know if it was French or not, but it was a comic book that was adapted about man, I totally I'm blanking on it. It's a girl, Iranian girl, I think, and how she likes like punk music.
Marjane Satrapi and fuck me.
Was that French?
Yeah, she's Iranian French, and she's Iranian, and she escaped to France when she was a little girl, and this is actually the story of her life. A lot of friends of mine worked on that movie. Very authoring movie.
It's an amazing movie. And then I really wanted to pick up the second book because I want to know what happened.
Persepolis.
The second part of it.
Persepolis.
Yes, that's so good.
Yeah.
Next, you're going to tell me that you know people that worked on Triplets of Belleville.
Oh yeah. But every 2D movie that are being made in France, I knew obviously some people that worked on it at some point.
Yeah, I'm fanboying out now, so,
so
that's awesome.
Have you seen Ernest and Celestine?
Mm-mm.
Like a bear and a little mouse, very kids-friendly movie. And it was nominated at the Oscar, I think.
Ernest and Celestine. There is something about these animation styles that I don't want to say is French, but I can tell it's I guess kind of French. I guess.
I basically watch this stuff once a year whenever like the Oscar Shorts nominations happen, and then I end up watching them all together in a movie theater, an art house theater here.
Okay.
So I've seen all of these.
Okay, cool.
Persepolis, I don't know. I think it was just on Netflix, and I think I saw a trailer for it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this. But Persepolis was done very well.
Yeah.
I really do need to. I need to pick up that second book.
French animation is not great all the time. You know, it's there's like few movies that goes across the ocean, but we have a lot of shitty movies as well.
Was Babar French? The elephant?
Is he French? I think it's Belgium.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Belgium, and this is part. Congo was part of the Belgian colony, so I think this is kind of based on that. I think it's quite dark.
Oh. I like this art style a lot, actually. This must be like difficult to animate. Things that look so. What's the word? Analog, different line widths. I know we were talking about this earlier too, but how there's not a lot of animations or like even games that have like the lines that like you guys have in Streets of Rage.
This is all done in Flash for the animation.
Wow.
Yeah, this is Flash, and all the texturing is made afterwards in compositing. I was very close with the director, a friend of mine, and so I knew a lot of stuff that happened in this movie.
The tech to make things look old again is mind-blowing to me. Like the stuff that like Disney has been going through to make their 3D animated stuff look like 2D is like ridiculous. Guilty Gear does it in their games. Guilty Gear does it very well in their games.
Yeah. But this is a big process because they need to. I don't know if you've seen the GDC presentation of the art style of Guilty Gear, but it's like for the shading they have another model just for shading, and they don't have I mean, for the first 3D Guilty Gear, they did not have any texture. Everything is like polygons with color.
Yeah. They had to do something similar to in what was a KOF, was it 13? The last animated KOF. I think it was
Yeah.
KOF 13.
Yeah, KF13.
It has amazing pixel art.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that was 3D, and then they just put pixel art over it, which is
I
like
think
nuts to me.
It's more complicated than that. I think they used a based 3D model for lightning, and they. I like the KOF 13, but sometimes it feels a bit off. You know, like I can see the 3D behind it. I don't know.
It's
It's a shame that this game kind of tanked because I would have liked that SNK would stick to 2D fighting.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. We have enough.
Check the lore, all right?
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I jumped in. So we have something called Tuesday Night Fights, where we just play random games on Tuesday. Unfortunately, we don't have the arcade right now, but we've been doing it online. And one of the only ones that I've joined has been KOF 98. And I think there was, again, something that drew me to it was definitely art style and just like the animation. It's something that I always go back to. I always think, oh, SNK.
Yeah.
Okay, this is very SNK.
And it's actually a good thing for 2D. 2D can be here as long as you want. It's not depending of the hype of the 3D of the moment. Like for example, you can still play Metal Slug and find it beautiful, but I will not say the same for a lot of 3D games of that era.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's hard to look at even Final Fantasy VII. See the big
Yes.
blocks.
Yeah, if Final Fantasy VII is very difficult, and if you want to have a proper good looking with 3D, it's 200 million budget if you want to make a. I think, but I think 2D is here to fill a gap for. For 2D developers. It can be beautiful and not very expensive if you do it efficiently.
Well, it's beautiful in a way in which it's not the same when you take either when you take realistic looking 3D models, like they're chasing a real dragon, right? This just looks real, but there's something that's always stylized about the 2D art, the way it pops off the screen, the way it makes your imagination go. Like I said, like there's so many moments in Streets of Rage 4 where it just like something happens and my mind explodes, not just from what I'm seeing, but from the emotions that it's evoking from me, from all the different like movies and games and whatnot that I've played over the years. It's just like, oh, of course. And that's not the same when you see an actor playing something like we were playing Until Dawn on the stream earlier, which I did enjoy, but like it just looks very realistic. It's like there's the guy who won the Oscar for Freddie Mercury, but it's not nearly as evocative as seeing the hand-drawn stuff.
Yeah, because especially when you try to have a realistic 3D character, you are on the how do you say, the uncanny valley.
Yes.
And you don't remember them, and you don't want to remember them, because this is kind of, it's more. I don't know if you don't have empathy for the characters. Yeah.
I always mention it during our VGM Wednesday segments that there's also something about giving someone a limit, right? Like with 2D, 3D might be easier to like maybe model something out. You would think that, okay, I just like move something around like a puppet, versus 2D, you have to animate everything, and so
Yeah.
there's not a skeleton that you're following, and then you've got more opportunity to kind of exaggerate things, and
So-
those exaggerations are the things that you will like notice like the most.
Yeah, the thing is, the thing is that the problem is with 2D animation, like I do, is that you have to plan things ahead very carefully, because you can't. This is not very video game development friendly, because you can't iterate much. Because if you have a proper character and you want to change the animation, you have to regrow everything. So this is the only downside of it. I mean,
Other than it looking gorgeous and
yeah,
feeling
yeah,
like
well,
somebody-
but this is another way of making games. I think a lot of developers are focused on the way, like iterative, all the time, and it's good because you can, change the feeling at the very end of the game development. But for 2D, it's very difficult. So I don't know.
Ian, have you played it yet with the pixel art overlay? I guess it is. Is it a filter? Streets of Rage 4 that is.
Oh, it's just right.
That's a filter, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I haven't yet.
I haven't
I'll say
either.
that-
I'm honestly like still entranced with the art as it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it does actually work.
Hmm.
It does.
I like how it also mixes with the pixel characters as well too.
Hmm.
Also, I saw you on my website.
Oh
So
yes,
what
I'm just looking around at everything else you have. I love this Fox animation too.
It was a project of a video game I wanted to do in my spare time, but I didn't go very far because I was trying to program myself, and you didn't have Unity at the time, so I used, what did I use? Engine called, I can't remember. But so yeah, so
I'm trying to think of
designed
something
it.
else that was like Unity.
Yeah.
I'm getting it's that Mouse Guard book. I forgot what it's called. Martin of Redwall. Martin of Redwall feels from some of this, but anime inspired Martin of Redwall. Yeah, I'm a fan, and
Thanks.
now even a bigger fan, knowing all the stuff that you are associated with and things that you guys have worked on.
Yeah. What else can you point us to? If because I've got another solid month of playing Streets of Rage 4 with me, if not more. But if we want to find more of your specific art, because now, like Ian said, we're fans.
My art is not. You can find one page of me in the art book of DreamWorks TV series about trolls, not trolls, about a guy with a sword, troll hunters.
Troll Hunters. Gotcha.
Art
Yeah.
of DreamWorks animation.
Yeah, troll hunters.
So you did work on Troll Hunters and
Oh,
Yeah,
there you go.
for a bit I was an employee of a French company doing stuff for, and you have 2 pages of me here. I think I didn't even know that was in that. Other than that, I did some development for DreamWorks, but it never came to light. I've been doing comics, but French comics, not translated. I'm gonna try to have the rights back and put my comics online for free for everybody.
oh,
Try
that's-
to,
That'd be
because
awesome,
I
yeah.
I don't do anything with it, and the publisher doesn't care. So I'm gonna try to have my right back.
yeah. I think that's as a someone who loves old video games. I think I'm getting frustrated by, I would say, video games released in the last 10 years. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is a really good example of this, which is a beautiful, beautiful video game, which is basically lost to time because of rights issues.
Yeah. I don't know how they could manage that, but that's a shame that this game is not available anymore.
Yeah, I know. Brian Lee O'Malley's upset about it, the original Scott Pilgrim artist.
Oh, look at, sorry, Blue Mary just popped up on one of your things too. AOF
Yeah.
love.
Yeah. This is when I was trying the style of Streets of Rage 4, this is just a matter of trying how to color, how to.
Actually, can I ask what do you mostly like to work in? Is this digital? I'm gonna assume it's digital.
Yeah, everything's Photoshop. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I tried other software, but I have my habits in Photoshop. I have my brushes. I know exactly how the software works, so it's easier for me.
Yeah. Any analog mediums? So stuff for Inktober. That's always interesting going back.
Yeah, just basic brush pens and this is like markers, gray markers for having a bit of shading.
Yeah, it's always interesting to go back because there's no Control Z.
Yeah. I actually did that because I did some drawings for 2 fans that helped us in the game. And I had to, since I'm on lockdown with my family, I don't have my stuff for drawing here, so I had to use my daughter's pencils and watercolor.
Well, it turned out great. How are things over there, lockdown wise?
Well, honestly, that's alright because I finished Street of Rage just before the lockdown.
Oh, well, last year.
But the thing is, since I have 2 kids at home, 2 young kids,
Yeah.
it's quite a challenge. And my wife is working very much, so it can be a challenge. But no, that's alright. The weather is actually nice. They're planning to reopen the country next week. I'm not sure we are ready yet. We'll see.
Same here, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're definitely not ready in the US.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to overstep, but from what I've heard, I think you're facing a major crisis.
This sounds. Did we lose you? No, I can hear him still.
He's
Sorry,
just
sorry,
gone
babe.
much lighter, much lower.
Yeah,
Sorry, do you hear me?
we're okay.
Yeah, that's better.
we can
That's
hear
better.
you. But yeah,
Yeah, we're opening up, I guess last week, phasing in opening up, and yeah, same here. We're having record numbers of infection every day, and it's weird. This has been a weird time.
Yeah, you're gonna face a major death toll. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just.
We're all living it, so you don't have to apologize. It's been a weird time.
Yeah, sure. So anyway,
Yeah.
guys, it's getting late. I'm gonna leave you here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
no, thank you so much. Yeah,
Have a good one. Stay safe.
We have to ask one question from Penelope, our 14-year-old Super Turbo Kids player. She wants to know, what's your favorite color?
My favorite color is dark blue gray.
Dark blue gray.
Gray dark blue.
Thank you so much.
blue is winning.
Congratulations. Enjoy this, man. You're the king of the world. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Have a good one, guys. Bye bye.
Thanks again, Ben. All right.
Bye.
That's awesome.
is awesome.
The Easter egg of knowing what this is now in the background.
Mm-hmm.
That's for all you free play people out there. Go tell everybody.
It's true. Yeah.
Clip it. Clip that.
So good. How am I supposed
Well,
to play
I don't know how
anything
you're
else
gonna-
now?
And just play Streets of Rage again.
I mean, clearly
I'm already
to.
going through. So I stayed up a little too late last night, just like beating it, and then so, let's see how far I can get with arcade, or let's try other characters. So I ended up playing with other characters, and that was like 4 in the morning. I was like, oh, jeez. Okay.
I can't let myself do that, just because I have to get up the next day and do the show.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, like, Tuesday night fights running long is just like, all right, this has got to end so I can play some Streets of Rage 4, and it didn't happen, of course.
Oh, well. I
Man.
mean, you can always change brothers back to this.
Done.
But
You didn't have.
I-
You don't have
I-
to work hard to talk me into it. Let's play Streets of Rage 4. What do you play on, Ian?
On Steam, but I'm having that issue where I connect to people and it's like choppy and gross. But
Maybe I can play with Shannon.
I mean, it looked like it worked great for you and Cloud and you and Shannon. I don't know how it looked for Jasmine, but then again, you and Shannon, it was PS4, I think, right?
Yes, but I played Cloud in Steam, and it's been fine. Yeah, you're the only person that had connection issues, which means you're on the top of my list to come over whenever you can, and let's play some 4-player.
What's weird though, what's weird is like I didn't have that issue with one of Andy's computers, one of his older computers. There was no issue, but on his new computer, the one that's like more powerful, all sorts of issues. So I'm confused.
That's interesting. I suppose I could. I have two gaming PCs here. I suppose I could install on the other one. But honestly, I want you over here at the Free Play Away Game Studios whenever it's all cool to do it and play 4-player.
The other thing that might be worth it, I don't know if you saw the weird 4-player way to try to play it, is somebody hosts it all on their machine, and we all kind of play via like a Discord type thing where we share one screen and like our inputs are all. That would be something
Super
we'd have to
delayed.
look in the future, because I know you want to play this 4 players, and there might be a way.
I do. But honestly, I'm obsessed with local multiplayer as it is. So maybe
Yeah.
sometime soon we can have a renaissance of Streets of Rage 4 and I'll play 4-player and play the music in the room and just have a party, man. It's
We should have. I don't know how much it would be to commission something from Ben, but if you can get this in the arcade, and then commission a cab,
ooh.
that
Yeah.
would be amazing. That would be money, but that's. I mean,
I suspect Streets of Rage 4 will. Maybe it's just the employees afterwards, but I suspect at some point you'll see Streets of Rage 4, or it will be played within the premises. I bet you. I mean, we have the Red Bull cab that's capable of playing PS4 games right there, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's something even better. It's too good. It's just too good.
maybe they can skin the Red Bull cabinet with Ben's stuff.
Well, honestly, like
something.
the 4-player's where it's at.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's only 2-player.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well.
Yeah, the only thing that keeps
so
it from being just a straight arcade game is just that the game takes a long time to play. You know, one person. You can have a game that goes on for an hour.
That's true.
But it's a great hour with a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun to watch too. So yeah, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick, and then I'll come back and I'll play some games with Shannon. I know you gotta go, Ian. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and
no
honestly, like, it's so much better to have somebody with expertise and to talk to the art guy about.
Oh, that was pretty fun to talk about, especially when it came down to the animation. Like him knowing the people for Persepolis is like, that's awesome. His wife is working on that Ladybug anime that I know a bunch of friends of mine are like big fans of.
Mm-hmm.
Also awesome.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I'll be right back in 90 seconds or so.
All right. Go ahead. I guess while I still have the screen and people here, guys, feel free to follow Ben at his Twitter. I'm sure if you have more questions, you can ask him there. He has his website with his artwork and stuff on it. So I'll definitely be following him. he did a really cool piece for one of the special guest composers, and he did stuff for Hotline Miami, which is also an amazing game. Great music and everything too. Cool that he did this for him. Yeah, that was awesome of him to come out, man. That's and all the way in a different country, different time zone. I'm very thankful, and seems very humble. I'm gonna have to say thank you out here somewhere.
All right, thank you, man.
A proper thank you or whatever.
What's that?
All right, I'm gonna do some proper thank yous and stuff on social medias.
Yes, please. We gotta get that Go Straight thing clip too.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Okay, I'm gonna look for that then.
There's so much.
Can we do that?
What's that?
Can I look at old video already?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
But
I will
there's
look
also
for
you have like 2 weeks to clip it as well.
That's true.
I know I clipped some e-brakes in retrospect. We're gonna have dogs attacking in this e-brake at 5 o'clock. But until then, every game that's not Streets of Rage 4 is canceled. We're playing Streets of Rage 4.
Okay.
I've been jonesing
Get
to
on
play
up,
this game for a
Shannon.
while.
Oh yeah, I for me it was like recent. I played it that one time with Andy, and then the Saturday or Sunday where I was playing it by myself. I'm like, okay, and now I'm playing it with another character.
Right.
Blaze is pretty cool. So now I'm kind of, and I'm trying to up it each time. So now I'm playing on hard. Next one on Maniac or whatever.
Yeah. No, I've got so much left, and also don't fall asleep on the retro modes. Like the pixel filter actually does look pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now, like I was telling Ben.
Post-processing mode or whatever that's called.
Yeah, it looks nice. Like it looks like Streets of Rage. They did a phenomenal job in every part of it.
Yeah.
And that's I just don't know how they pulled that off. Like that's an impossible task. It's not a fair task. Like you have one of the great games of all time with maybe the best video game music soundtrack of all time. And you have to follow that up to hit it out of the park. That's
like
impossible.
They're like a two-man group too, I think. The main Lizard Cube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, him and he said Omar, I believe was his name.
Yeah.
But he's the art guy.
There's nothing else on here. Maybe it's not loading. Maybe my internet is dying.
Yeah, Shannon, if you're here, jump on Streets of Rage on the PS4.
What's up, guys?
Hey. You got your answer for the what guitar she's using.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
Gibson S.
Lego nailed it too. He knew it.
Gonna streaming yours so I can stream my bandwidth back.
Yeah, if you haven't, if you listen to all that and you haven't gotten Streets of Rage 4 yet, it's well worth it. However you can obtain it.
Yeah. To close this off, I need to go